Chapter 42:71. The people from Akron Hall sneered when they saw this. What do these idiots know? Sovereign Gu's strength was far beyond their imagination. Just wait and see. These people will know what a true expert is. The people from Myriad Demon City and Great Desolation Mansion sneered. This time, they should be able to get rid of Lin Xian. Between heaven and earth, terrifying energy flowed wildly. The flames around Lin Xian surged and blocked the aftershock of the storm. His face turned cold. His opponent was indeed strong. Beneath him, Sovereign Gu raised his head and sneered. How is it? Can you feel my strength? This was just a casual attack. Would you be able to block the next attack? As his voice faded, he raised his hand and made a grabbing motion in front of him. Suddenly, black flames appeared on his palm. Flames filled the sky and held between heaven and earth. The surrounding cold aura exploded once again. This shocked everyone. One should know that flames were usually extremely hot and dazzling, but now it was incomparably cold. What kind of flame was it? It was bone flame. Unparalleled, Sage King frowned. This flame was extracted from the corpse of an expert. It was extremely strange, as it could freeze the world. Lin Xian also noticed this. The black flames had the power of ice. In the next moment, he took a deep breath and unleashed the nine-yang divine body to the extreme. Golden flames danced around his body like a volcano. Then he slapped his palms downward. The golden palms and the black palms collided. It was like a god and the grim reaper from hell were fighting. A surge of energy surged rapidly at the place where the two of them clashed. The entire world was rapidly collapsing. The people around them were shocked by what they saw. This kind of strength was too strong. Seeing that his opponent could block it, Sovereign Gu raised his head. His eyes were cold. No wonder his opponent could kill steel arms. He was indeed strong. However, his opponent was courting death. Since his opponent dared to destroy Steel Arm's soul, he dared to torture him for 10,000 years. He would let his opponent live in pain every day. Thinking of this, he snorted again, and the power in his body exploded. The black flames became even more terrifying. At the same time, the flesh on his palm also disappeared and was replaced by black bones. It was a black bone hand with flames dancing on it. Once again, he grabbed forward. Boom! Boom! An even more frightening cold aura gushed out, freezing everything in the surroundings and causing them to explode. This time, its power increased once again. The surrounding people were all going crazy. Could Yi Futian still increase his strength? Damn it, wasn't he supposed to suppress his cultivation? The people from Peerless City were also shocked. Linghu Chueshue and the others cried out in alarm. Master, what was going on? Peerless Saint King said, It's impossible for him to break my seal. In other words, his cultivation was being suppressed. As for his power, that was the result of his divine ability and law. I can't interfere. Indeed, geniuses were able to fight above their level. Lin Xian was able to fight across terrifying realms. As for those of the older generation, they were also capable of doing so. Even with his cultivation suppressed, he wasn't someone who anyone could provoke. Saint Sovereign Black Bone was an example of this. The black bone claw seemed to split open the sky like a black mountain. It carried with it an extremely terrifying law of finance. In addition to the black flames, there was even the terrifying yellow spring water surging. When the people from the other sacred cities felt this power, their expressions changed. Even those mid-stage saint sovereigns' eyelids twitched wildly. They definitely wouldn't be able to survive being hit by such power. No matter how strong Lin Wudi was, he probably wouldn't be able to resist it. Saint Sovereign Black Bone was wrapped in black flames, like the grim reaper from hell. He looked at the figure above, and a cold voice sounded. Kid, it's over. Boom! The black hand soared into the sky. Lin Xian's eyes reflected the light. He naturally felt the terror of this attack. He took a deep breath, not daring to be careless. In the next moment, the 10 ultimate sword formation appeared and danced between heaven and earth. 10 sword chi, together with the law, kept falling down. It was like 10 divine swords piercing through the void. The 10 ultimate sword formation appeared. Lin Xian used his most powerful divine ability as soon as he came up. It took everyone by surprise. It seemed like this was going to be a tough battle. However, those people from the Acheron Hall sneered. The 10 ultimate sword formation was strong, but it wasn't enough. It couldn't compete with Saint Sovereign Black Bone. If this kid didn't have any other trump cards, he was really dead this time. Terrifying sword light surrounded Lin Xian's body, and he circulated the Dragon Clan's breathing technique. A mysterious power flowed out and supported the formation. Suddenly, the sword chi became terrifying again. The aura of the Dragon Clan spread out, as if an ancient divine dragon had been resurrected. At the same time, the aura of the great dragon sword soul also surged out, and the sound of dragons rang out. Lin Xian's body was surrounded by dragon chi, and it turned into a dragon's shadow. At this moment, he was like a true Dragon Clan expert. A terrifying aura shook the heaven and earth. Boom! Boom! The sword chi was incomparably powerful, and it blocked the black hand, causing the heaven and earth to shatter. The surrounding people were shocked when they saw the scene. They didn't expect Lin Xian to be able to unleash such an aura. No wonder he had the ability to challenge the sacred city. Just as the crowd was discussing, the scene in the sky changed again. Lin Xian made his move. His palm grabbed forward. In the 10 ultimate sword formation, 10 sword lights turned into a divine sword, and he held it in his hand. Then he slashed out with the sword. The heaven and earth cracked instantly, and it couldn't resist at all. Buzz! The sword slashed at the black hand. When the two collided, the black hand immediately sank, and the surrounding void kept shattering. In the boundless darkness, the light of stars flickered. The sword directly pierced through the void. The surrounding people were stunned, and Saint Sovereign Black Bone's face changed. He didn't expect the other party to be able to resist it. Thinking of this, his eyes turned gloomy. Is he courting death? He stretched out his other hand, and it was also pitch black. The aura of the yellow spring on it was even more terrifying. Can the other party block the two palms together? However, as soon as he stretched out his hand, the void behind him kept shattering. A Tai Chi diagram appeared and shrouded him. Boom! 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 The heaven and earth cracked. The terrifying golden light and the terrifying black aura spread together with the power of yin and yang. It caused the sky to turn into primal chaos. Not good. The Acheron Hall's face changed. It's the Tai Chi diagram again. It was this attack that killed Tai Shou. Could it be? Is Saint Sovereign Black Bone going to follow in his footsteps? As the earth-shattering collision occurred, the people of the other sacred city also became nervous. Is the winner going to be decided? The power lasted for a long time before it slowly disappeared. Lin Xian stood in the sky and looked down. Chapter 42-72. Below, a figure emerged. It was Saint Master He Gu. At this moment, Saint Master He Gu was not in a good condition. There were many cracks on his body. It was extremely terrifying. Many people gasped when they saw it. However, they were soon stunned, because they realized that there was no blood flowing out from the cracks. What's going on? Is he not injured? Even Lin Xian furrowed his brows. It was a very strange scene. Saint Master He Gu's face became extremely gloomy. In the next moment, he was furious. He waved his hands and directly tore the broken body apart, then threw it far away. The surrounding people were stunned. What is this guy trying to do? However, they soon found out what was going on. It turned out that a black skeleton emerged from the broken flesh and stood in the void. It seemed to be made of black gold. It was pitch black and exuded a terrifying aura. Saint Master He Gu had turned into a black skeleton. It couldn't be. Could it be that this was his true body? It was very likely that from his name, this was what he was best at, his physique. He was a skeleton to begin with. Exclamations could be heard. Kid, you are indeed strong to make me use my original body. However, this is the end. Saint Master He Gu's eyes burst out with extremely terrifying killing intent. Lin Xian snorted and rushed over. He was like a peerless god of war as he kept attacking. The surrounding people were all stunned. This holy sovereign He Gu had clearly become even stronger. However, Lin Xian still dared to attack. He was too bold. Lin Xian appeared above Saint Master He Gu like a golden lightning. He slapped his palm down. A terrifying power erupted. The flames on the palm intertwined to form a sun, which he held in his hand. His other hand waved the 10 extinction swords and slashed down fiercely. Lin Xian knew that his opponent was a terrifying expert. He could not be judged by common sense. Therefore, he did not hold back. The golden sun kept falling, shattering the void. On the other side, the 10 extinction swords were slashing everything. Black Demon Spear. Facing the attack, Saint Sovereign Black Bone sneered. His 2 arms turned into 2 black spears. Runes spread out on them, gathering to form a terrifying power. The black spear flew out and collided with Lin Xian's spirit technique. The terrifying energy was like the destruction of the world. It spread out in all directions with terrifying fluctuations. Humph! Sacred Venerate Black Bone grinned maliciously amidst the intense impact. He had absolute confidence in this battle. However, in the next moment, his pupils shrank. The reason for that was because he had discovered that the other party was also smiling amidst the torrential energy. What was going on? He furrowed his brows and snorted coldly. He didn't know what was going on. The power in his hands erupted once again, and the 2 black spears quickly moved. At this moment, even a middle stage Holy Venerate would not be able to block the power of this attack. However, in the next moment, Saint Master He Gu's pupils shrank. This was because he discovered that his 2 black spears had actually collided with each other. That power made his arm go numb. What's going on? He was forced to retreat, and his eyes were filled with shock. This was too inconceivable. Was the other party controlling his arm? How was this possible? Naturally, this was the stellar transposition that Lin Xian had executed. After taking effect, he quickly charged over again. Sacred Venerate Black Bone's spear was forced back, and his face turned cold. However, he was not afraid. He opened his mouth and spat out endless yellow springs, forming a yellow springs waterfall in front of him. The yellow springs waterfall gave off a cold aura as if it had fallen from the netherworld. It was incomparably horrifying. The golden sun and the 10 absolute swords collided, producing a sky-shaking sound. However, it did not pierce through. Sacred Venerate Black Bone sneered. Brat, stop struggling. Even a middle stage Holy Venerate cannot break this yellow springs waterfall, let alone you. No way, he is so strong. Wouldn't he be in an invincible position then? The surrounding people were also shocked when they heard that. This Sacred Venerate Black Bone was really too strong. Lin Xian sneered. Is that so? You think too highly of yourself. If you were at your peak, you might be qualified to say such words. However, your cultivation is only at the early stage, Holy Venerate now. Look, I'll break you. After saying that, he directly struck out a Taiji diagram. The Taiji diagram kept spinning, forming a mysterious force that began to absorb the Yellow Springs waterfall. The Yellow Springs waterfall was stirred up by this force, spinning along with it. Then, a black hole formed in the middle of the waterfall. How could it be? Sacred Venerate Black Bone could not believe that his strong defense was broken so easily by the other party. In the next moment, a terrifying sword chi came out from the black hole again. Buzz! Sacred Venerate Black Bone quickly retreated. Obviously, he did not expect that. He even retreated a little slowly. The sword chi hit him, causing his body to shake and tremble. Some parts even became dim, as if they were about to shatter. The people of the Yellow Fist Palace also had ugly expressions after seeing that. They did not expect that Lin Xian was so strong that he could injure, sacred, venerate, Black Bone. The surrounding experts of the sacred city were even more shocked. This guy was even stronger than they had imagined. Sacred, venerate, Black Bone only stopped after retreating a long distance. He suppressed the vibration of his body and bones. Then he raised his head, and his eyes were filled with extremely cold, killing intent. It was too abominable. He did not expect that this little saint could pose such a threat to him. It was really out of his expectation. It seemed like he had underestimated his opponent. But so what? He snorted coldly. With a flip of his hand, a small cauldron appeared in his palm. The small cauldron was swallowing the white bones and the yellow springs, bringing with it a terrifying aura. The surrounding people's expressions changed because, after taking out the small cauldron, sacred venerate Black Bone's strength had increased again, reaching a terrifying level. Even Lin Xian furrowed his brows. The people of the Yellow Springs Palace also looked solemn. They did not expect to use the spirit exterminating cauldron. With He Gu's strength, it was hard to believe that he had to use such a trump card to deal with his opponent. But soon they all sneered. Since Sacred Venerate Black Bone had taken out his trump card, everything could end now. The spirit exterminating cauldron could definitely erupt with unparalleled power in He Gu's hands. Sacred Venerate Black Bone would not be able to withstand it at all. The other sacred cities were also in an uproar. Some sneered and some gasped. The people of Wushuang City were also worried. They could naturally feel a shocking power from the small cauldron. It was most likely an incredible treasure. This He Gu was really cautious. He was a late-stage, sacred, venerate, Black Bone, but he still had such a treasure. In the arena, after Sacred Venerate Black Bone took out the spirit exterminating cauldron, a ferocious look appeared in his eyes. He poured his power and laws into the spirit exterminating cauldron. Suddenly, the spirit exterminating cauldron shook nonstop, and endless yellow springs rushed out from it. It swept out as if it was going to swallow the entire world. Chapter 4273. The terrifying underworld spring quickly surged towards Lin Xian. Everywhere it passed, the void shattered and corroded. This power was too terrifying. Even a middle stage, Holy Venerate would not dare to take it head-on. Furthermore, the underworld spring moved extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, it arrived before Lin Xian and enveloped Lin Xian. Boom! 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 The horrifying power struck Lin Xian. The terrifying underworld spring swallowed Lin Xian. Not good. That brat is in danger. Countless people exclaimed. In their opinion, even a middle stage Holy Venerate would not be able to survive such an attack. The underworld halls, people revealed sinister smiles. This time, the other party is dead for sure. Holy Venerate Black Bone also had a sinister expression. However, this smile only lasted for a moment before it froze. This was because the underworld spring in front had split open, and a figure walked out forcefully. The figure flickered with golden light, surrounded by terrifying sword chi. Lin Xian used his strong power to shatter the underworld spring and walk out. His expression was incomparably cold. He came out? He did not die, the surrounding people exclaimed. The underworld hall's people also clenched their teeth. Damn it, this brat actually managed to block it. Holy Venerate Black Bone's face sank. The strength of the other party exceeded his imagination. He had not expected that even after taking out his trump card, he would not be able to injure the other party. Lin Xian's expression was cold as he stared at the small cauldron in the other party's hand. This attack was indeed very strong. If not for the fact that he had many cards, he would be in danger. Holy Venerate Black Bone also roared furiously and used his full strength. He used all his strength to control the spirit extermination cauldron. Countless laws poured into the small cauldron, causing it to grow bigger. It became the size of a huge mountain. Countless underworld springs and white bones rushed out from it. It carried a terrifying aura that filled the surroundings. Then the large cauldron tumbled and tilted down, trying to suck Lin Xian in. This was simply a world-destroying attack. Clearly, Holy Venerate Black Bone was going to use his full strength. The middle stage, Holy Venerates in the surroundings were horrified. Such an ancient magic attack could not be dodged at all. This time the other party could really go to hell. The people of Acheron Hall heaved a sigh of relief. It wasn't easy at all. How many times had they fought? Finally, in the last round, they managed to kill the other party. The terrifying spirit extermination cauldron rushed towards Lin Xian with the aura of the yellow springs that could destroy everything. Sacred Venerate He Gu, who was controlling him, had an ugly expression on his face. His black body started to tremble slightly. Clearly, it was extremely difficult for him to use the full power of the Saint artifact with his current cultivation. However, he smiled, because he knew that with his current strength, it was impossible for him to block this attack. It was impossible for the other party to block it. When such a terrifying aura appeared, the 9-yang divine flame on Lin Xian's body became dim. It was even extinguished. It was clear that this was a great crisis for him. He felt cold all over, as if he was about to enter hell. The next moment, he took a deep breath and did not dodge. Instead, he formed a seal with his palm. The onlookers sighed when they saw this. Had Lin Wudi given up on resisting? It seemed that the other party knew that he was going to die and had given up resisting. Morong Qingchen. They were extremely nervous. It shouldn't be. It was impossible for Lin Xian to not resist at all. It seemed that he was using some kind of trump card. Sure enough, in the next moment, Lin Xian's eyes erupted with an extremely terrifying light. A dragon-shaped sword shadow appeared in the 10 ultimate sword formation. As soon as this sword shadow appeared, it brought with it an extremely terrifying power that rushed in all directions. Heaven and earth collapsed. The yellow springs were all blocked by this sword chi. The people around exclaimed, "What the hell was this thing?" This sword shadow was too terrifying. Some of the sacred king's pupils shrank, and an extremely cold light burst out from their eyes. It was this thing again. It was this sword that killed Acheron Hall before. Was the other party going to use it again? The people of Acheron Hall became nervous. Sacred King Silver Corpse said, "This sword was expected. The spirit extermination cauldron should be able to block it. As long as it could block this sword, the kid was dead." This was because they knew that after Lin Xian used this sword, he would not have any strength left. At that time, he would be an ant that anyone could crush. If the other party did not use this trump card, he might still have a chance to escape. Once he used it, the other party would have no way out. Murong Qingchen, Shen Jingjiu, and the others were naturally nervous. They also knew that this should be the final attack. The outcome should be decided soon. Lin Xian took a deep breath, and his expression became extremely grave. He wanted to use the great dragon sword soul at full power. He needed a lot of energy. Of course, this time he planned to change his plan and not use his own energy. Thinking of this, he took out 6 storage rings and let them float in the air. Then he crushed all the storage rings. Various treasures, divine crystals, and spiritual herbs all floated in the air. There were so many that the eyes of the surrounding people turned red. Damn it! How could this brat be so wealthy? Even the middle stage, Holy Venerates, clenched their fists. The late stage, Holy Venerates, also took a deep breath. However, those sacred kings frowned. What was this kid trying to do? Could it be? In the next moment, they saw a sky full of treasures, as well as all kinds of energy crystals, all surging toward the great dragon sword soul. The image of a dragon appeared on the great dragon sword soul, transforming into a dragon head. It directly opened its mouth and swallowed all the energy. Not good. He wants to use the energy to replace his own energy. Stop him! Sacred King Silver Corpse shouted angrily. This way, as long as the other party had enough treasures, he would be able to use them continuously. That Sacred King Hegu had become dangerous. Sacred King Hegu naturally knew this. He snorted coldly and attacked with his full power. He would not give the other party a chance. Lin Xian's expression was grave. A trace of pain appeared in his eyes. After all, with so many treasures, any sacred venerate would be jealous if he took them out. However, he was going to use them all now. Furthermore, he could only use the great dragon sword soul once. The great dragon sword soul was truly an invincible cave. Fortunately, if he could kill Sacred King Hegu, it would be worth it. In the next moment, he stretched out his hand and grabbed the great dragon sword soul. The might of the 10 extinction swords also surrounded him. Lin Xian was like a peerless sword god. He slashed his sword forward. A terrifying dragon-shaped sword image roared between heaven and earth. The people from the 3 dragon clans trembled. They even wanted to kneel down and submit. What exactly was that? They were shocked. The other experts from the sacred city were even more shocked. That dragon-shaped sword image brought about a great threat to everyone. The people from the Yellow Springs changed their expressions again. Previously, they had seen that shocking sword attack through the formation. Now they could feel the terrifying aura of that sword attack. They all sucked in a cold breath. They did not know which was stronger, the dragon-shaped sword or the spirit-extinguishing cauldron. Chapter 4274. Under countless horrified gazes, the terrifying dragon's sword collided with the extermination cauldron. Then, a destructive storm spread in all directions. The entire heaven and earth were completely covered, and everyone felt a destructive power continue to exist. Everyone was horrified, other than the sage ruler. Everyone else's pupils shrank. Even the sage ruler's face turned solemn. Clearly, it was a supreme treasure. Moreover, it was a supreme treasure that could grow. The more power he provided, the more powerful the explosion would be. This was something that even they were jealous of. At this moment, a murderous intent appeared in their eyes. They couldn't wait to kill Lin Xian and snatch this treasure. However, they held back. There was still a chance to kill him and snatch the treasure. There was no need to do it in the sacred hall. They couldn't see anything in front of them. There was only the sword light and the terrifying yellow spring. The yellow spring turned the entire world into hell. The surrounding people all retreated and stood behind the sage ruler. At this moment, only the sage ruler could withstand it. The two seemed to be in a stalemate. They were evenly matched. However, this situation didn't last long. The dragon roar sounded again. The sword slashed down. The endless yellow spring roared and a crack was torn open. Then it became bigger and spread into the distance. Damn it, block it for me. Seeing this, Sage Ruler Blackbone roared crazily. He recklessly unleashed all of his power to defend himself. However, more and more cracks appeared. In the end, the yellow spring was split open. The sword slammed into the extermination cauldron. The extermination cauldron kept shaking and retreating. He was also sent flying as if he was struck by lightning. He spat out mouthfuls of blood. Although he was a skeleton, he still had life. At this moment, his life force was decreasing rapidly. It was obvious that he was severely injured. The surrounding people in the holy city were all stunned when they saw the scene. They didn't expect the extermination cauldron to be at a disadvantage in the battle between the two treasures. Sage Ruler Blackbone was severely injured. Damn it! How was this possible? The elders of the Acheron Hall gritted their teeth and roared in disbelief. The silver corpse, Sage Ruler's face was gloomy. Could it be that he couldn't kill this kid in the end? That's great. We won. Everyone from Peerless City smiled. This way, Lin Xian shouldn't be in any danger. But Lin Xian didn't stop. He didn't just want to win. He wanted to kill his opponent. Only then would he be able to deal a heavy blow to the Yellow Spring Palace and let the Silver Corpse Saint King have a taste of his own medicine. Thinking of this, he took out another 6 storage rings and crushed them. The energy and heavenly materials and earthly treasures surged into it again. The great dragon sword soul, which had lost its power, roared once again, surging between heaven and earth. Not good. The faces of the people from the Akron Hall turned ugly. Was this brat crazy? He actually wanted to make a move. The others were also shocked. They had used up too much energy these 2 times. It was simply unbearable. Who would have thought that this brat would actually put in so much effort? Damn it, I admit defeat. Blackbone Saint roared crazily. He was so arrogant that he directly admitted defeat. Clearly, this sword strike was enough to threaten his life. Lin Xian sneered. Admit defeat? However, there was no such rule. Either you die or you escape. The terrifying sword light slashed down, and Blackbone Saint was scared out of his wits. Damn it, he turned around and fled. At the same time, he recalled the spirit extermination cauldron to block in front of him. However, he knew that he couldn't block it. He had already tried before. As expected, the spirit extermination cauldron was sent flying again. However, that sword strike didn't disappear. Although it had consumed most of its power, the remaining aura could still kill him. No, Blackbone Saint roared. He couldn't escape anymore. Damn it, the aura on his body grew infinitely. Clearly, he wanted to break the seal. As long as he could return to his true strength, with his late-stage Saint Venerable cultivation, he could completely dodge this sword strike. Want to tear the seal? Is that possible? Unparalleled, Saint King sneered. In the next moment, his figure flashed, and he rushed into the distance. The Silver Corpse Saint King had made his move. The Silver Corpse Saint King also knew that Blackbone Saint King couldn't escape from this sword strike. He wouldn't let Blackbone Saint King be killed again. After all, Taisho had already died. He couldn't let Blackbone Saint King die again. Just as he was about to make his move, a black vortex appeared, blocking his path. Wu Shuang, how dare you stop me? Do you want to die? The unparalleled Saint King snorted. Since you're here, I'll destroy you. He was extremely domineering. Last time, you made a move on my Peerless City's people. This time, you should have a taste of your own medicine. Boom! Ah! At this moment, a roar came from afar. This sword strike was so powerful that it could split heaven and earth, and it directly enveloped Blackbone Saint King. Get lost! The Silver Corpse Saint King was completely enraged. He made his move forcefully, and the entire world cracked. However, his opponent was the unparalleled Saint King, who was equally terrifying. The boundless black vortex swallowed everything. Don't even think about making a move today. Just as the 2 of them were exchanging blows, the outcome of the other battle had already been decided. With the power of the great dragon sword soul, Blackbone Saint King couldn't resist at all. When everything disappeared, not even a drop of blood was left behind. He had completely disappeared from this world. Ah! The Silver Corpse Saint King roared into the sky. Die! The yellow springs surged in the sky, and a yellow quanta charged towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian's eyes narrowed. Is this guy going to attack me again? The unparalleled Saint King roared. How dare you! The unparalleled sword slashed down from the sky, and the yellow springs was split apart. Seeing that the 2 of them were about to explode, the other Saint Kings also stood up. The soaring Saint King, desolate Saint King, and the other Saint Kings from the Saint Cities prepared to attack. The surrounding people went crazy. Is a war really going to break out? At this moment, a thunderclap sounded in the sky, and then countless rays of light fell from the sky. Like a divine palace, a palace appeared in the 9 heavens. It was just an illusion, but its aura made everyone tremble. Even the Saint King's faces changed, and they didn't attack again. The unparalleled Saint King snorted. "You've already attracted the Saint Hall. Do you still want to continue?" The Silver Corpse Saint King's face turned extremely ugly. He could already feel the terrifying aura from the Saint Hall in the 9 heavens. Even if he was a Saint King, he couldn't stop it. In the next moment, he retracted the yellow springs and gritted his teeth. "Just you wait. I'll definitely have my revenge. Anytime." The unparalleled Saint King snorted. Lin Xian, who was far away, also said, "Why? Are you heartbroken? When you attacked me, did you think that you would end up like this? You only have yourself to blame for everything that's happening now." And the Silver Corpse Saint King was so angry that he vomited blood. He didn't think that a small ant would dare to be arrogant in front of him. However, with the Saint Hall here, he couldn't attack, so he snorted coldly. He retreated. However, his face turned even colder. Lin Xian sneered. "So what if you're a Saint King? If you attacked me, I'll pay you back tenfold." Chapter 4275. The battle had finally come to an end. However, no one had expected it to end in such a manner. Lin Xian was extremely powerful. He had even killed a late-stage Holy Venerate. His strength made everyone tremble. No one dared to make a move against him anymore. The following battles continued. They were equally exciting. This was the final round. Those who had a grudge against each other wanted to kill their opponents to weaken their opponents. There were even many late-stage Holy Venerates. However, the scene of Lin Xian fighting Holy Venerate He Gu still lingered in everyone's mind. That was because this battle was too shocking. It was enough to be recorded in history and become a glory. Finally, when the final battle ended, everyone heaved a sigh of relief. They knew that the second stage of the Tao discussion had ended. Those people returned to their respective holy kings. No one smiled. This was because every holy city had suffered great losses. When they came, they had brought dozens of geniuses with them. However, what about now? Not many of them were left. Those who were still alive were injured. They were in a miserable state. Even more geniuses had fallen in this space. The Acheron Hall was in an even more miserable state. Only 5 people were left. The 1,000-demon city had 6 people left. The great desolate mansion also had 6 people left. The 10,000 sword pavilion and Lei Xinqing were in a better state. There were only about 10 people left. However, compared to the previous battle, the spectacular scene made them go crazy. Their hearts were bleeding. The other holy cities had also suffered great losses. This time they were in a killing frenzy. Of course, the only one who was in a better state was Wushuang City. Wushuang City had a total of 11 people participating in the battle. Only one late-stage Holy Venerate had fallen. The other 10 people were still alive. However, they were all injured. Clearly, some of them were severely injured. However, they were all laughing. This time, they were finally able to hold their heads high. Not only had they passed the second stage with minimal losses, but they had also severely injured their enemies. How could they not be happy? Hearing the laughter, the other holy cities' faces turned ugly. The laughter was like a slap to their faces. This was especially so for the Acheron Hall. The 1,000-demon city had been plotting how to destroy Wushuang City. Now, it seemed like they had lifted a rock and smashed it on their own feet. The other side had not suffered great losses, but they had suffered great losses. Following that, the people who were still alive became excited, because they knew that the moment of reward had come. In the sky, the phantom of the lightning became more and more real, as if it had traveled through time and space. In the end, it appeared in front of everyone, causing countless people to feel incredibly excited. They knew that this was the Holy Hall and that there were countless secrets within. The Saint Kings all stood up and spoke to the people around them. Next, you will enter the sacred hall and receive baptism there. This is an opportunity for all of you. How far you can reach will depend on your own luck. Hearing those words, the sages who had managed to reach their current level all became excited. The gazes of Peerless City's players were similarly fiery, but Lin Xian frowned slightly. "Senior brother, what's inside the Saint Hall?" Peerless Saint King said, "It should be able to increase one's cultivation and laws." Hearing this, Lin Xian's face fell. He laughed bitterly. "I'm still suppressing my cultivation, not daring to break through. If we go in, I'm afraid I won't be able to suppress it. I'll give you a few things." As he spoke, Peerless Holy King tossed a storage ring to Lin Xian. Then he transmitted his voice to him. "There's a devouring jade pendant inside. Wear it on your body, and it will form the law of devouring to prevent others from probing. There's also a devouring bottle that can absorb energy. Although you can absorb it on your own now, you can guide this energy into the devouring bottle. When you reach planet Xiuan, you can use the energy inside to break through." "Okay." Lin Xian nodded and heaved a sigh of relief. Then these people entered the sacred hall. The sacred hall descended from the 9 heavens, blooming with golden light, causing people to worship it. Everyone walked in anxiously. After entering, they realized that the terrifying laws of heaven and earth were covering the sky and earth. It surrounded them. The aura was abnormally terrifying. Many people's eyes instantly turned red. This was great. They could cultivate here for the time it took for an incense stick to burn. If they could rush to the outside world for 100 years, this was definitely a heaven-defying opportunity. No wonder the battle was so intense. If they knew that there would be such a reward, they would be able to accept such a tragic scene. In the next moment, these people all sat down cross-legged, allowing the terrifying aura to envelop their bodies, and they began to absorb it crazily. Lin Xian was also shocked. This place was even more terrifying than Mount Longhu and Mount Leiji. It was indeed the fortune of heaven and earth. He also sensed that although there was great fortune here, there was also danger. After all, there was a limit to what one could bear. If it exceeded what one could bear, the power would tear one's body apart. In the next moment, he took a deep breath and sat down cross-legged. He could feel a boundless aura surrounding him. It wanted to pour into his body. Lin Xian sighed. If he wasn't suppressed by the heavenly path, he could absorb it crazily now. But now he couldn't. He took out the devouring bottle and used it to absorb the surrounding energy. Beside him, Linghu Chueshue, Fu Hongye, and the others did the same. They were also excited. Murong Qingqing and Shin Jingqiu's beautiful eyes were also shining. At this moment, everyone was attacking with all their might. After the time it took for an incense stick to burn, someone was pushed back. "Damn it, I can't accept it." That person's face was pale. He could no longer absorb it. However, he had already obtained a day's worth of Zhaohua. At least his aura was much stronger than before. After the first person was sent out, the next person was sent out. These people went out and roared at the sky. However, the voice of the Holy Venerables sounded. "In front of the Holy Hall, no one is allowed to be presumptuous. Hurry up and thank him." After those Holy Venerables heard it, their scalps went numb. They didn't dare to make a fuss anymore. Instead, they bowed respectfully outside. There were fewer and fewer people who could stay in the Holy Hall. After half a day, more than half of the people came out. There were less than 30 people left. Among them, half of them were from Wushuang City. Countless people were shocked. However, gradually, Shangguan Shaoxian, Lu Yuan, and the others came out one after another. There were only about 10 people left in the Holy Hall. Among them were Lin Xian, Hongye, Murong Qingqing, Gufeng, Chao Tiansheng, and the others. Qin Xiener and the others were all top-notch experts. However, these people also came out in the end. There were 3 people left in the field. One was Lin Xian. The other 2 were Chao Tiansheng and Gufeng. The three of them were very strong. They persevered until the end. Murong Qingqing and the others had all left. They didn't know what would happen to Brother Xian this time. They were all looking forward to it. At this time, Gu Feng opened his eyes. Countless spatial cracks appeared on his body. He sighed and looked at the two of them unwillingly. Then he shook his head and sighed. Gu Feng also came out. Only these two guys were left. Exclamations sounded. Seeing that Lin Xian was still inside, the people on the first floor of the Yellow Spring Hall were extremely jealous. Damn it, this kid's talent was actually so good! They didn't expect that other than Lin Wudi, this Chao Tianqing was also so strong. Could it be that he was even more terrifying than Gu Feng? Exclamations and discussions sounded. At this time, Lin Xian opened his eyes. He sensed that the devouring vase had absorbed almost all of it. This was because a resistance force had appeared in the Holy Hall, preventing it from absorbing any more. He also sighed. It seemed that he had reached his limit. At the same time, Chao Tianqing also opened his eyes. There were stars in his eyes. It seems that we should go out. Chapter 42:76. Lin Wudi, you were able to persist until the end. I was right about you. Chao Tianqing looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian also said that he was also very mysterious. He was the only person he couldn't see through. Chao Tianqing smiled. Since that was the case, why don't the two of them spar? The battle in the second stage was unparalleled, but the two of them really didn't fight. It also made countless people sigh. Lin Xian was surprised. Here, Chao Tianqing said that it was naturally impossible to fight here. Why don't the two of them spar? Sure, Lin Xian was also eager to try. After all, he also wanted to find out how powerful this Chao Tianqing was. Thinking of this, he looked forward, and at the same time, Chao Tianqing's gaze also looked over. The stars in their eyes were disappearing. This was the sacred hall. The two of them naturally didn't dare to fight. However, the two of them were using the great path and will to fight. They used their minds to construct a battlefield. Here, their will and great path were constantly fighting. This battle was truly incomparably dangerous. Lin Xian found that the other party was even more terrifying than Gu Feng. The other party's palms dissolved everything. It was even more terrifying than stellar transposition. He even used the power of the great dragon sword soul, but found that he couldn't hurt the other party in a short time. There was a strange law around the other party that could dissolve everything. Even if his attack was unparalleled, the other party seemed to be able to withstand it. It was too amazing. This Chao Tianqing definitely had a supreme inheritance. Who was the other party? What was this supernatural power that could dissolve everything? Lin Xian felt that the other party was full of mysteries. On the other side, Chao Tianqing was also surprised. He naturally had a supreme inheritance. He didn't even take Gu Feng seriously. What shocked him was that the other party was actually able to fight on par with him. It seemed that it should be the legendary offensive Saint art. No wonder it was so difficult for me to dissolve it. He should be the successor of the great dragon. Chao Tianqing was also shocked. Now that he finally confirmed Lin Xian's trump card, he didn't attack again. Instead, he said, "You're not bad. I look forward to the chance to fight." Lin Xian also retracted his will of the great path. This was a very powerful opponent. Now was not the time to fight. Both of them stood up and walked forward. The people outside were already waiting for them. At the same time, those who came out of the sacred hall also began to break through. After all, the time it took for an incense stick to burn inside was equivalent to 100 years of cultivation outside. These people had been here for a long time and had accumulated enough power. Therefore, they all began to make breakthroughs. There was a terrifying thunder tribulation between heaven and earth. Countless bolts of lightning descended as a few figures soared into the sky. It raised its head and roared. Although this was a great fortune, those who could break through in an instant were all experts among experts. For example, Gu Feng, Morong Qingqing, Shen Jingqiu, Guan Songhai, and Qin Xianer were all extremely terrifying. If they could successfully pass the tribulation, they would be able to reach the middle stage of the Holy Venerate realm. Before entering the Saint Hall, they were only at the early stage, but they were able to break through in a short period of time. This is simply a heaven-defying act. He didn't know how strong the two people inside would be after they came out. He couldn't have directly broken through to the late stage, right? These people were incomparably shocked. Not long after, he saw Lin Xian and Chao Tianqing come out. After coming out, Chao Tianqing bade farewell to Lin Xian and flew directly in the direction of the Limitless sect. He came to the side of the Limitless Saint King and whispered a few words in the next moment. The Limitless Saint King nodded and then directly released a terrifying sacred domain, enveloping Chao Tianqing. Then he took the remaining people of the Limitless sect away. No one knew what he was going to do. Everyone guessed that Chao Tianqing was going to break through, but they didn't know why he left. Lin Xian looked at the other party's departing figure with a flicker in his eyes. He naturally knew the reason why the other party left. It was because Chao Tianqing's breakthrough was too strange. He was going to enter the coffin directly. Such a scene would be seen by others. These people would probably be scared silly. After Chao Tianqing left, countless eyes looked towards Lin Xian. This guy should have broken through, but they realized that Lin Xian's aura was still at the peak of the small saint realm. He didn't even seem to have broken through to the early stage of the sacred master realm. What's going on? Could it be that he didn't break through? That can't be. These people were all stunned. Perhaps it was not time yet. They continued to wait. However, half a month later, they fell into complete despair. They discovered that Lin Xian showed no signs of breaking through at all. After half a month, Gu Feng and the others all succeeded in their tribulations. After breaking through to middle stage, Holy Venerate, they became even stronger than before. They were like two different people. Arg! Gu Feng roared at the sky, and countless spatial cracks appeared. At this moment, even the late stage Holy Venerates showed grave expressions. This person was too strong. Not only did he grasp spatial magic, but he also grasped ancient inheritances. Once he fully unleashed his strength, it would be unparalleled. On the other side, Morong Qingqing, Qin Xianer, Guan Songhai, and the others all made breakthroughs. They became even stronger. Those holy cities rejoiced. This time, basically every holy city had people making breakthroughs. There were even people who broke through to late stage from middle stage, Holy Venerate. This was the only consolation after the tragic deaths of the geniuses. These people were enough to make up for the previous losses. The remaining people of the Yellow Spring Hall, Great Desolate Mansion, and Myriad Fiend City also grew stronger. There were even people who made breakthroughs. However, they were not happy. They looked at Lin Xian with cold killing intent in their eyes. This brat did not make a breakthrough. It was a blessing in disguise. Next time, they would definitely kill him. In the sky, Gu Feng also looked around, searching for traces of Chao Tianqing and Lin Xian. After half a month, the people of the Limitless sect returned. Chao Tianqing also appeared. The aura on his body had also become even stronger. Clearly, he also made a breakthrough. Ancient Wind could feel a strong sense of threat from the other party. A cold light burst out of his eyes, and countless spatial laws spread out. In the next moment, he turned his head to look at Lin Xian. Then he was stunned. What's going on? The other party did not make a sudden breakthrough. The other party is actually still an early stage, small saint. He did not dare to believe it. Gu Feng confirmed again. Then his lips curled up in a cold smile. Originally, I thought of you as an opponent. I thought you were my great enemy. However, you did not even break through to early stage, Holy Venerate. How disappointing. A trash like you is not qualified to be my opponent. The moment these words came out, everyone sucked in a cold breath. Was Lin Wudy flying? What a joke! How many holy venerates did he kill? Even a late-stage, holy venerate expert fell at his hands. If such a person was trash, then what were the others? Wouldn't they be worse than trash? However, the situation before them was indeed very strange. This was because everyone who entered the holy hall had their strength increased. Although not everyone made a breakthrough, they were like two different people compared to before. Only Lin Xian's aura did not change at all. How could this not be shocking and surprising? Chapter 4277. Facing Gu Feng's provocation and the others' puzzled expressions, Lin Xian remained calm. He naturally knew his own problems, so he didn't care. When he reached planet Xiwan, he could break through together with the accumulated strength. At that time, these people wouldn't be able to imagine how strong he would be. Hence, Lin Xian said indifferently, "If you were so confident, you should have challenged me earlier. But why didn't you dare to? In the end, you just weren't confident. Don't think that you can be arrogant in front of me just because your strength has increased. If you're really not convinced, we can fight." Speaking of which, Lin Xian's eyes exploded with a terrifying killing intent. Suddenly, the sky fell and the earth cracked, and a terrifying aura swept in all directions. The surrounding people went crazy. One had to know that Gu Feng wasn't weaker than Lin Xian, especially now that he had broken through to the middle stage. Just how terrifying was this kind of strength? However, Lin Xian wasn't afraid and even wanted to fight. Where did he get his confidence from? Is that so? I also want to see how strong a trash like you is. Gu Feng's eyes exploded with killing intent. It seemed that he also wanted to fight, because he felt that this was a good opportunity to get rid of Lin Xian. However, at this moment, a sage king said, "Stop first. The Sage Dao discussion isn't over yet. There's still the third stage. You guys still have to continue." Hearing this, Gu Feng stopped in his tracks. The others were also stunned. It's not over yet? How is that possible? They had already entered the Sage Hall and obtained great fortune. Their cultivation had even increased by a few thousand years. This was simply a miracle. Now, these people actually said that it wasn't over yet. What's next? Is it an even greater fortuitous encounter? These people were all excited. The Sage Kings also said, coldly, "Yes, there's still the third stage. There, you guys might be able to obtain even greater fortuitous encounters. You might even soar to the sky. In the future, breaking through and surpassing Sage Kings won't be a problem." As soon as these words came out, everyone was shocked. Is it possible to surpass Sage Kings? To be honest, Sage Kings were the top existences in the second astral realm. Surpassing Sage Kings should mean leaving the second astral realm. Thinking of this, their eyes were filled with yearning. They naturally knew that there was an even bigger world outside the second astral realm. The Great Sage and the legendary Great Emperor would display their might in that world. However, the second astral world also had its own barriers. Even Saint Kings were unable to break through and head to the other astral worlds. Now that they had such an opportunity, how could they not be excited? "Now everyone follow us to the sanctuary." The Silver Corpse Holy King also shouted. As the host, he naturally had to continue with the rest of the journey. However, the 5 people from Akron Hall beside him had already started to gather. The rest of the holy cities also gathered. Gu Feng looked at Lin Xian and sneered. "Brat, your luck is really good. However, in the third stage, I will personally deal with you. I will show you the difference between us." "Is that so?" "I am looking forward to it." Lin Xian's eyes were also shining brightly. If he guessed correctly, this third stage should be related to planet Xiwan. If he could return to planet Xiwan, then he would no longer need to suppress his cultivation. At that time, would he still be afraid of Gu Feng? Everyone followed the Holy King into the Holy Hall. There was no one else in the trial space. There was only the shining palace in the sky and the broken ground. This was a cruel elimination. Those who died were buried here, and the victors would ascend to the Holy Hall and enter the unknown space. Those who were watching the battle outside were also stunned. What is going on? Are these people leaving? At the same time, the real bodies of the saint rulers outside the trial space also disappeared. The other people from the holy cities were all shocked. Where did they go? The elders shook their heads. We don't know either. Only those who have successfully passed the first 2 stages and are still alive can enter. Once they left, some of them never appeared again. Although some came back, some disappeared again in a short period of time. Even those who stayed behind kept their mouths shut and didn't mention those things at all. Hence, where exactly the third view was a mystery. As soon as this was said, all the spectators in the second astral world were stunned. The people from the star worlds were all guessing. Where were these people going? Those who entered the holy hall, other than the holy kings. Only those who survived and won added up to a total of 150 people. 20 factions, 150 people. It was a very small number. These were the top geniuses of the second star system. No one was more talented than them. These people carried the hopes of the holy cities as they traveled through the starry sky. Although they were all very curious, where were they going? What would the third stage be like? No one dared to ask. The atmosphere in the holy hall was unusually tense. The holy kings also kept quiet. However, the people from the Acheron Hall were all looking at them. The Acheron Holy King was transmitting a message to them. The Silver Corpse Holy King said, "If I am not wrong, Linwoody will not be able to break through to become a holy sovereign because he was abandoned by the heavens. In other words, this is the end of his path. When the third stage comes, all of you will work together to kill him. You must kill him completely." Hearing this, the 5 people from the Acheron Hall clenched their fists. They must take revenge. The people from the great, desolate mansion and the demon city also received the order. They knew that Lin Xian's path had come to an end. It was impossible for him to take another step forward. As for them, they had unlimited hope. They could even surpass the holy kings. Just thinking about it made them excited. Lin Xian's expression was incomparably calm. He sat down cross-legged and his soul entered the dream leaf. He began to refine his laws and superpowers. He knew that the holy kings would not dare to make a move here. Hence, he was extremely safe. The dream leaf was still as mysterious as ever. However, Lin Xian had used too much of his soul energy earlier. Now, there were not many souls left in the dream leaf. Lin Xian did not plan to use those souls again. After all, once he used them, the dream leaf would shatter and he would not be able to deduce laws and superpowers. Hence, he wanted to preserve the dream leaf. At this moment, he began to practice the last few moves of the Tiger Demon Fist. These were all killer moves. Lin Xian also felt that the 10 Fatality Sword formation could be further improved. Previously, in the second stage, it was his first time using it. There were still many areas that he needed to perfect. Just like that, they stayed in the Holy Hall for an unknown period of time. Suddenly, the Holy Hall trembled slightly. Everyone who was in the middle of cultivation opened their eyes, and a look of confusion appeared on their faces. What was going on? Were they under attack? Who dared to attack them? Chapter 42:78. The Sage King stood up. They knew that it was not an attack. They had arrived. There was no need to panic. The Sage King spoke. The surrounding disciples calmed down. After a while, they found that the vibration had disappeared. They were all surprised. After waiting for a while, the door of the sacred hall opened. They looked outside. They found that they had come to a vast world. The aura here was extremely mysterious with a primitive power. Where was this? These people were surprised. The Sage Kings walked out. They were on one side of the sky. They looked around and said, "Come out." The people in the sacred hall walked out and looked around in surprise. Where is this? Lu Xuanqin asked in surprise. The divine ghost sword saint said. This was the primordial star, also known as the true spirit world. What? Planet Xiwan? The surrounding people were all stunned. This was the legendary true spirit world. They had actually come. Lin Xian also took a deep breath. There was a hint of excitement in his eyes. After so many years, he had finally returned to this world. He wondered how the people in this world were doing. In this world, the only thing he cared about was the Immortals' Limit Palace. Other than that, his friends had also stepped onto the ancient star road like him. Now, Murong Qingqing and Xin Jingqiu had returned with him. As expected, the two fairies' eyes flickered. Obviously, they were also emotional. You're finally here. At this moment, a cold voice sounded between heaven and earth. Following that, a few figures flew over from afar. One of the figures was abnormally old. He had a very terrifying imperial aura. Obviously, his strength had reached an unparalleled level. The surrounding people were talking about who this person was. Was he an expert on planet Xiwan? He was too powerful. However, Lin Xian and the others frowned. What was going on? One had to know that when they left, there were sages in the true spirit world, but there were not many. Now, one of them had reached the Sage King level. Could it be that there was a big change here? In particular, what surprised Lin Xian was that he found that the clothes these people were wearing were very ancient. Could it be that they were also living fossils that had been resurrected recently? He was really too surprised. At this moment, the Silver Corpse Holy King walked over and said respectfully, "Royal Father." What? The surrounding people were all stunned. The Silver Corpse Holy King actually called him father. Who exactly was this person? His strength was too terrifying. But why did it look like he was only a Saint King? They really couldn't understand. Peerless Saint King and the others frowned. The old man glanced at Silver Corpse Saint King. Su then looked around and frowned. Why were there only 5 people? The Silver Corpse Saint King's expression changed. He gritted his teeth and said, "Something happened and we suffered heavy losses." What's going on? Aren't you the host of this event? The old man's frown deepened. It's a long story. I'll tell you later, father. Lin Xian was extremely shocked. Who was this person? Also, who exactly was the Silver Corpse Holy King? Lin Xian asked Peerless Saint. Sage King Wang Wushuang also frowned. This old man was from the true spirit world. He came from the primordial grotto. This time the Saint King was his son. Back then, the Silver Corpse Saint King was also very strong. He was a top genius. However, he was killed later on. Then the old man personally hid him in the Yellow Springs and continued to cultivate. He had used a different method to survive and become a Saint King. The primordial grotto. Lin Xian was stunned when he heard that. Back then, this place was like a forbidden area, like the nest of 10,000 dragons. It was an existence of the primordial race. Could it be that the Silver Corpse Saint King was also from the primordial race? No wonder he was so strong. He actually had a lot to do with the true spirit world. This old man was called Spirit Saint King Yen. This time he didn't come alone. He brought many people with him. There were about 15 of them, each of them top experts and geniuses. This was a very large force, together with the 5 people from the Acheron Hall. In other words, the Acheron Hall had about 20 people. It was double the number of people from Peerless City. They were originally at a disadvantage, but now they had the upper hand again. It was really shocking. It wasn't over yet. On the other side of the sky, more people descended. These people's auras were equally powerful. The people in the lead made the saints from the second astral realm exclaim again. Especially Lin Xian, his pupils constricted. He saw familiar people. They were from the Qingqiu clan. They actually came here? What was going on? They didn't come through the sacred hall. It was really strange. The people who came were from the Qingqiu clan. Leading them were the Saint King and Saint Queen. Behind them were also some young geniuses, but other than that, there were also some figures. There was even a Saint King. This was incomparably unfamiliar. Lin Xian looked at the other party's clothes and was surprised. It was the clothes of the Nine Li clan. The Nine Li clan was a top force back then. They were very powerful. But now there was a Saint King, which really surprised him. The true spirit world was one of the two special worlds in the myriad worlds. It was definitely not as simple as one imagined. There were endless secrets buried here and also endless experts. However, this place was very magical. After tens of thousands of years, it would reach its peak, then decline again, and the cycle would repeat. When you were here back then, it should be the process of gradually recovering from decline. After you left, the recovery degree of this place greatly increased. Therefore, these Saint Kings also repeated it. Some walked out of the divine crystals and fell into a deep slumber for who knows how many years. There were also some who had great changes in heaven and earth and obtained great fortunes, directly breaking through to become a Saint King. Lin Xian was greatly shocked after hearing. No wonder. Looks like the true spirit world had already undergone an incredible heaven-shaking change. But the Qingqiu clan and Nine Li clan walking together still shocked him. Looks like there should be some connection between the two. Actually, it was not just the Qingqiu fox. Lin Xian discovered that the other sacred cities were also connected to the true spirit world. For example, the Kunlun Pavilion was connected to the Jade Pool. The Jade Pool people also came and gathered together with Kunlun. This made Lin Xian shocked again. And apart from that, the Gu clan people also came. They met up with Gu Feng. Lin Xian sucked in a deep breath. Looks like the sacred cities of the second astral realm were connected to the true spirit world. To think that the true spirit world was inextricably linked to the true spirit world. This was truly inconceivable. The Qingqiu clan Saint Kings and Saint Empress all looked at Qin Xianer. They wanted her to come over. However, Qin Xianer stayed by the closed moon Saint King's side, which surprised everyone. It looked like Qin Xianer should be a member of the Qingqiu clan. But why did she not dare to go over? Was she afraid of something? This scene made the Saint Empress's eyes burst out with a cold light. In fact, even the people from the Nine Li clan had hostile expressions on their faces. Chapter 42:79. However, Liyue King wasn't worried because they also had people coming to help them. That was the Moonflower Palace. Seeing this, the people from the Nine Li dynasty all had dark expressions. They didn't continue to attack. Seeing that almost everyone had arrived, Saint King Spirit Yen from the ancient grotto said, "Let's go!" As he spoke, he rose into the air, and the people around him followed. Everyone entered the sacred hall again and flew. Not long after, they stopped again. When the sacred hall opened, Saint King Spirit Yen walked out first, and the others followed behind him. This time, they felt an even more terrifying aura. This was Lin Xian, and he was also very surprised. There were hundreds of thousands of mountains in front, and there was indeed a valley in the mountains. It was very mysterious, and there weren't any demon beasts there, not even a plant. It was really strange. Saint King Spirit Yen landed. Then he strode forward, and it seemed like he was going to the valley. However, he didn't dare to fly, and it was obvious that there was something in front of him that made him afraid. The others also held their breaths and followed carefully. When they finally arrived in front of the valley, Saint King Spirit Yen stopped and said in a low voice, "The sacred hall has opened, and we are here to welcome the protector." Who was the protector? Lin Xian and the others were surprised, but they didn't say anything. A figure slowly walked out of the valley in front of them. That person was wearing an ancient Taoist robe, and his face was cold. He stood there like a supreme, godly king, looking down on everything. At this moment, the surrounding Saint Kings all shouted respectfully, greeting the reincarnation protector. The surrounding saints were all stunned. Heavens! to be able to make Saint Kings bow their heads. What level was this protector at? Could he be a supreme saint? They couldn't believe it. Wasn't this a little too powerful? The reincarnation protector raised his head, and the stars in his eyes disappeared. He looked at the crowd. Then he smiled. This time, there were more people than expected. It was really gratifying. His voice was very low. Everyone felt their scalps go numb, as if all their secrets had been seen through. "All right, let me do it." As he spoke, he turned and walked towards the valley. Saint King Yenling took a deep breath and followed him. The others followed suit. After Lin Xian and the others entered the valley, Lin Xian and the others followed suit. He could sense that the aura here was even more profound and mysterious. It was as if the universe had been turned upside down. The reincarnation protector said, "The third stage of the Tao discussion was about to begin. I will send you into a strange world, and what you need to gather is the Sage King's will." This was something formed by the combination of the great Tao and the Sage King's own power after his death. As long as you can collect them, you will pass the third stage. Furthermore, possessing him was equivalent to possessing the key to the hidden Emperor Star. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone was shocked. Could a sage ruler's will lead one there? That was the place where countless great emperors were buried. Legend had it that it was a holy land of martial arts. If they could go there, they might really be able to surpass Saint Kings. For a moment, the eyes of these people turned red. The reincarnation protector did not say anything else. He formed a seal with his palms, and terrifying laws began to circulate around his body. In the next moment, he pressed his hands on the ground, causing the earth to tremble. A black shadow rose from the valley. It was abnormally terrifying. It was a pagoda. There were 6 doors on the pagoda, and each door had a sinister face painted on it. It was abnormally terrifying. The 6 doors seemed to lead to 6 worlds, 6 paths of reincarnation. The reincarnation protector continued to form seals, and a terrifying power erupted. The 6 doors kept flickering with light. One of the doors directly opened, and the reincarnation protector said that you can enter now. Hearing this, everyone took a deep breath. The people from the immemorial grotto took the lead and entered. After them was the Acheron Palace. When the others saw this scene, they no longer hesitated and entered one after another. In the next moment, they felt the world spinning as they were teleported away. The power completely enveloped them. When everything disappeared, Lin Xian and the others discovered that they had arrived at another place. This was no longer a valley, but an incomparably dark ground. It was blood red. Some of the mountain ranges were filled with shocking killing intent. This place was like an ancient battlefield where countless experts had fought and killed each other. It was even more terrifying than the space formed by the second stage. Previously, countless geniuses had fallen in the second stage, but they were only sacred venerables. And those who had fallen here were very likely sacred kings, or even more powerful. Moreover, there was more than one sacred king. Otherwise, the reincarnation protector would not have allowed them to collect the will of the sacred kings. All of a sudden, a dense fog appeared in the surroundings, causing the entire world to become chaotic. They could not see the scene in the distance clearly. Some people were shocked. Be careful. They held their breaths and activated their laws to resist. Lin Xian's eyes also erupted with a golden light. They walked forward. Suddenly, the sound of bones breaking came from under their feet. Lin Xian lowered his head and found that they were stepping on white bones. Moreover, these bones carried extremely powerful Tao runes. It was obvious that these were the bones left behind by experts, but it was unknown how many tens of thousands of years had passed. These bones had long been shattered and could not withstand their power at all. These people continued to walk forward. Suddenly, Lin Xian's pupils constricted. At the same time, Yu Ruo also cried out in alarm, "Stop!" Hearing this, the people from Peerless City stopped. They frowned and asked, "What's going on?" Linghu Chueshue, and the others were also puzzled. The surrounding people also cried out in alarm. Among them, some people who were proficient in illusions said, "Don't go! There seems to be something ahead." Some people struck out their laws, and a terrifying gust of wind swept out, blowing away some of the fog. They saw that in front of them there were many spiritual tombs, and those tombstones were like small mountains. It was very strange, and the aura they carried was as terrifying as a barrel. Obviously, those buried here were all terrifying powerhouses. Who was buried here? Could it be a sacred king? Some people exclaimed. At the same time, their eyes turned red. What the reincarnation protector had asked them to find was the will of the sacred king. Now that they had just arrived, they could see the tomb of the sacred king. It was really great. However, Urua and the others were frowning. Holy kings were extremely powerful. Even if they died, they would not be weak. Their tombs were not so easy to break into. Lin Xian's expression was even uglier. He said, "Everyone, pay attention. We are surrounded. Look around." They looked carefully. They found that the tombs around them had formed an encirclement, firmly enveloping them. What was going on? Why was this place so terrifying? Some people's faces turned pale. Lin Xian's eyes burst with a piercing cold light. He found that the area they were in was indeed surrounded by countless tombs. In this area, there were two other things besides them. One was an ancient altar that stood there silently. The other was a small hut. Obviously, someone had lived there before. Was someone guarding the tomb here? He was really too surprised. Lin Xian guessed that the reincarnation protector's 6 paths of reincarnation should have sent them to an ancient battlefield. And this ancient battlefield was very likely a forbidden area of the true spirit world. It was also possible that it was not in the true spirit world. Lin Xian even guessed that the 6 paths of reincarnation might be able to reverse time and space. Of course, he felt that this was not very possible. But no matter what, their current situation was not very good. This was because Lin Xian could feel an inexplicable sense of nervousness. This meant that something was threatening him. Chapter 4280. Ka! Just at this moment, the ground around them trembled. The ground split open, and skeletons crawled out of the ground one after another. These skeletons gave off terrifying pressure. Clearly, they were holy venerates. Black flames flickered in their eyes as a terrifying aura emanated from them. It can't be right. The surrounding people all sucked in a breath of cold air. What should they do? Should they leave or finish off these skeletons? Just as Xiao Chen's group was caught in a dilemma, the skeletons attacked. 2 skeletons charged at Lin Xian. Both skeletons were middle stage, holy venerates. This was a great threat to regular, holy venerates. However, it was still fine. These people had experienced the baptism of the holy halls before, and their cultivations had increased significantly. Otherwise, they might not have been able to resist the skeletons. On Lin Xian's side, he instantly faced 2 skeletons. The 2 gave off boundless killing chi. The terrifying world shook as the 2's palms turned into sabers and chopped at Xiao Qin. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Middle stage, holy venerates? His figure flashed as he quickly left. At the same time, he unleashed his 9-yang divine body. Divine flames surged into the sky, forming a sun. This sun pressed down from the sky. Boom! The 2 skeletons were suppressed in an instant. Their bodies were trembling nonstop. The 9-yang divine flame spread out, encasing the 2. In the next moment, the 2 burned. Xiao Qin dealt with them so quickly. The surrounding people were shocked. This was too inconceivable. These skeletons were the equivalent of 2 middle stage, holy venerates. Could it be that the other party's strength had increased? It was him. The other party clearly did not increase his cultivation. These people gritted their teeth. Some people showed cold expressions. The other party possessed the 9-yang divine flame. The 9-yang divine flame was extremely tough and had an innate restraining effect on other cold things. That was why the other party was so strong. Lin Xian had just finished off 2 skeletons when another 3 charged over. Lin Xian snorted coldly and executed the 10 senses sword formation. A terrifying sword chi chopped apart the 3 skeletons. The other people were also incredibly strong, slowly shattering these white skeletons. However, these white skeletons shattered and reformed, forming even more powerful existences. For example, when Lin Xian killed 9 skeletons, the 9 skeletons regrouped and formed a skeleton that was even more powerful. Even Lin Xian was shocked. In fact, he was even forced back by the palm strike. It was too strong. Could these skeletons recombine with each other? Lin Xian saw that the 9 skeletons had 9 skulls with black flames dancing on top of them. The 9 arms descended and enveloped the entire area. The laws contained within the arms even suppressed the 9-yang divine flame. Lin Xian coldly snorted. Tiger Demon Fist. A terrifying aura erupted. On the other side, his palm was drawn in the shape of a golden crow. It opened and closed, and the 10 ultimates sword formation erupted with unparalleled power. He and the 9-headed skeleton fought fiercely. The Tiger Demon Fist carried an indomitable force as it smashed into the skeleton's body, causing it to retreat. Then the golden flames burned fiercely and engulfed the other party. The black flames on the other party's body were suppressed and kept cracking. 10 streaks of sword energy pierced through the bodies of these people. Next, Lin Xian and the others continued to fight. However, these white skeletons were endless. They could only be scattered, but they could not be completely destroyed. Once they were scattered, these white skeletons could be reborn again. They were simply impossible to kill. Gradually, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days passed. These people were exhausted. There were also some experts who were injured. After all, no matter how strong they were, there was no limit to their strength. Even Lin Xian's face was pale. What was going on? What was going on? What was going on? Thinking of this, he coldly snorted and slashed 2 skeletons with his sword. Then he strode forward. Unless they made a move on the tombs or the ancient altar, they wouldn't be able to do anything. Ordinary altars had extraordinary meanings. Therefore, he felt that the secret might be there. Lin Xian swept through everything. His powerful strength suppressed everything. He charged forward forcefully, and the laws on his body continued to erupt. The dragon's roar resounded through heaven and earth. After half a day, he finally reached the front. He was only 10 meters away from the ancient altar. In front of him, there were only 3 skeletons left. For Lin Xian, it was not a problem. He was about to make a move, but at this moment, a low and strange voice sounded. "All right, all of you stop now." As soon as this voice sounded, everyone's hair stood on end. Was there anyone else here? It was obvious that this was not their companion, nor was it a protector, nor was it a holy king. Who was it? Was there anyone else here? Was it from the ancient tomb? Lin Xian's pupils also shrank. He was facing a great enemy and did not make a move. Following this sentence, the surrounding white skeletons continued to shatter. They sank into the ground again. It was as if nothing had happened. Everyone was shocked. Who could have such a method with just a sentence? Lin Xian's eyes bloomed with golden light. He stared at the stone house. He knew where the voice came from. In the next moment, he saw an old figure walk out from inside. There was actually someone here. When the powerhouses of the other holy cities saw this scene, they were also shocked. No way! Why didn't they sense it before? One had to know that they were all holy venerables, and there were many late-stage holy venerables. If there was someone here, they would definitely know. In the next moment, they looked carefully and then gasped. They realized that there was no aura on the old man's body. No wonder they couldn't sense it. In that case, was the old man alive or dead? If he was alive, why was there no aura on his body? If he was dead, why was he still alive? The world has changed, and the sun and moon have rotated. I didn't expect that someone would come after so long. It's really surprising. This voice was filled with power. The old man opened his eyes, and his gaze shrouded Lin Xian and the others. Everyone sucked in a cold breath. What did this old man mean? What was there to be happy about? That old man was as thin as a skeleton. Fortunately, the old man still had flesh and blood, but it was very little. There were really many people here this time. It seemed that they would be able to have a good meal this time. As soon as he said that, everyone was shocked. Could it be that the old man wanted to eat them? Even Lin Xian looked solemn. The old man didn't care about the fear of everyone. His eyes flickered, and then he pointed at Lu Xuanqin. Come over here. Lu Xuanqin's heart skipped a beat, and she was about to cry. Was this old man going to eat her? The people from the 10,000 Swords Pavilion also walked up and said, "What are you trying to do?" The old man smiled and said, "Why? Are you worried? I just want her to get some water for me. Old man, I haven't eaten for so many years, and I'm hungry. Get some water? I'll help you." A genius from the 10,000 Swords Pavilion said, "Where is it?" The old man pointed at a wooden barrel beside him and said, "Where's the wooden barrel? Where is the water?" This time he was pointing at a tomb. Whether you can get it out or not depends on your ability. However, I don't think you can do it. Hearing that, the genius was furious. Isn't it just getting water? What's so impossible about that? He snorted coldly, grabbed the wooden barrel, and walked towards the tomb. In the next moment, the tomb split open and wrapped around him. Chapter 4281. Not long after that person went in, he came out. Half of his body was gone, and blood was flowing. His face was filled with fear. At the same time, everyone saw some yellow spring water in the cracked tomb. Heavens, is the so-called fetching water the yellow spring water? Go and light the fire for me. Then he pointed at another person. This time, he was pointing at the people from the Demon City. The people from the Demon City snorted coldly. Why? He asked through gritted teeth. Because of this. A terrifying killing intent erupted from the old man's eyes. Immediately, the body of the person from the Demon City shattered and turned into snow mist. His soul screamed in horror. "Are you qualified now?" the old man asked. The soul in the sky nodded frantically. "Yes, I'll go and light the fire for you now." The old man pointed at the others. "Go and chop some wood for me." In the end, these people began to take action. There was nothing they could do. This old man was really too strong. Soon, a shocking vibration sounded. This was not the outbreak of a battle, but someone was chopping a tree. However, that tree had a cold aura and grew in the tomb. That was the Suzuki tree. After tens of thousands of years, even a mid-stage Saint Venerable could only make a small crack on it. In other words, the full-strength attack of a Saint Venerable could only make a crack. It would take an incense stick of time to coax it open. The person whose body had been blown apart earlier had an ugly expression. If he wanted to light such a tree, he would have to vomit blood. What should I eat? The old man looked into the distance and reached out a large hand to grab the void. It extended for tens of thousands of miles. Not long after, he retracted his palm. A huge creature was brought back by him and fell to the ground. The world shook nonstop. Everyone was terrified. Then they gasped. The creature that was caught was a small saint demonic beast. It could dominate a region outside, but it could only become food in the mouth of others here. Next, everyone was assigned a task. Even Lin Xian and the others were assigned a task. These people did not resist, but did as they were told. They originally thought that they could leave by pleasing this old man. However, after the old man finished eating, he said, "Not bad. You guys are very obedient. Since that's the case, then stay by my side and help me do these chores every day." What? Hearing this, everyone became angry. What kind of joke was this? Originally, these people could still leave. However, if the other party wanted to force them to stay here, they would not agree. Someone sneered and left. These people flew into the sky, and the old man formed a seal with his palm. All of a sudden, the surrounding curtains split open, and terrifying phantoms flew out from within. There was the terrifying Yellow Springs water and a white bone claw. There were even headless riders and demonic beasts with broken wings. What a terrifying fairy! Those figures were like gods of war. These illusions should have permeated the world. It emitted an extremely terrifying aura that enveloped all the people around it. The surrounding people were so scared that their scalps went numb. They instantly retreated. In the sky, those terrifying phantoms floated up and down, as if they could suppress everything. The elder laughed. "How is it? You still dare to resist? If you stay here obediently, I won't kill you. Otherwise, I'll kill you. These tombs might be the places where you fell." After saying that, he sneered and went into the stone house to rest. The faces of the people outside became incomparably ugly. Damn it, what should they do? Some people gritted their teeth. Among them, the people from the ancient grotto snorted coldly. What kind of joke was this? How could we be trapped by the other party? These people prepared to attack. The other people from the holy city were also prepared to attack. They clashed with those terrifying phantoms. Instantly a great battle broke out. But not long after, they despaired because they realized that they couldn't break out of the encirclement. These phantoms were really too terrifying. He must have been an incredible figure when he was alive. Even if he was dead, he could still use some great divine abilities. Damn it, they were unwilling to accept this. At this time, the people from the ancient grotto said, "This place is too strange. I think this old man is the key. When he comes out tomorrow, we'll directly kill this old man. Without him, I don't believe that these phantoms will appear again." All right. The people from the Yellow Springs Hall nodded. The other people from the holy city also prepared to join forces to kill that mysterious old man. On the other side, Lin Xian also gathered quite a few people. Morong Qingcheng asked Brother Xian, "What should we do?" Lin Xian said, "I have a feeling that this place isn't ordinary. It's better not to act rashly. Let's take a look at the situation first." Lin Xian frowned and looked around. They didn't attack. Those terrifying phantoms disappeared again. But after dark, they once again appeared between heaven and earth. It was abnormally terrifying. Everyone felt their hair stand on end. It wasn't until dawn that the phantoms disappeared. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. A hint of doubt appeared in his eyes. On the other side, the venerables of the ancient grotto were ready to attack. But on this day, the old man didn't come out at all. Just like that, he didn't come out for the second and third days. He only came out on the fifth day. And in these 5 nights, Lin Xian had already discovered some strange situations, because he discovered that these cemeteries were very tall. Obviously, this person was not ordinary. However, there was a mound in the corner. There wasn't even a tombstone, but it was also a tomb. Whose was it? Wasn't it too inconspicuous? However, for so many experts to be buried together, the person's identity shouldn't be too weak. Lin Xian noticed that in his eyes, the heavenly divine, I seemed to be able to see through everything. Suddenly, he was stunned because he discovered that there was nothing inside. It was actually empty. There was nothing inside. This puzzled him greatly. On the 6th day, the old man came out again. This time, the old man started to command these people again. Those people from the holy city pretended to agree and prepared to take action. Unknowingly, they came to the old man's side and suddenly attacked. Die! The ones who attacked were all late-stage, holy venerables. The 2 10,000 sword pavilions sword venerables sent sword chi flying, illuminating the entire place. When their swords descended, they split the world. The people from the ancient grotto made a move. Laws surrounded him. making him look like a demonic god. They attacked strongly. 10,000 beams of light enveloped that person. In addition, the people from the great, desolate mansion, the 10,000 fiend city, and the thunder god city all attacked strongly. They revealed sinister smiles. With so many late-stage, holy venerables attacking together, the other party would probably be beaten into a bloody mist. Indeed, after one attack, that place turned into primal chaos. The people from the ancient grotto turned their heads and stared at Lin Xian and the others. Since they already attacked, they might as well deal with them together. They would kill that brat. These people showed cold expressions as they walked towards Lin Xian and the others. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Linghu Chue Xue, Fu Hongya, and the others stood up. Murong Qingqing and the others also stood up. Was the battle about to start? In the distance, the people from the 3 dragon races, the Kunlun Pavilion, and the others also prepared to attack at any time. Chapter 4282. It was very likely that another earth-shattering, holy war would break out between the two sides. However, at that moment, a sneer could be heard from the shattered void. Do you think you can kill me with just the few of you? You must be dreaming. Since you don't know what's good for you, I'll teach you a lesson. After saying that, a terrifying killing intent soared into the sky. Everyone felt their hair stand on end. Could it be a sage king? No way, there's a sage king here. Some people retreated in fear. However, at that moment, an old man from the primordial grotto frowned. No, he's not a real sage king. He's only one step away from becoming one. We still have hope. Let's attack together. Those people roared. Among them, the old man from the primordial grotto took out a bottle of crystal swords that shone brightly. A terrifying sword intent swept across the area. When the surrounding people sensed the aura, their expressions changed again. That was a Sage King level weapon. Oh heavens, someone actually took out such a weapon? The people from the Acheron Hall also took out their gourds. The Acheron gourd was also a Sage King level weapon. On the great desolate mansion side, a desolate mirror shot out. The 3 Sage King level weapons swept in all directions. Everyone felt their hair stand on end. The old man roared in anger. A great battle broke out. These people all had Sage King level weapons. Yurua and the others looked solemn. Linghu Chueshua said, "Let's break out of the encirclement quickly." After saying that, they hurriedly moved. Some of the surrounding people attacked the old man, while others prepared to break out of the encirclement. Countless terrifying phantoms appeared in the surrounding cemeteries. "Get lost!" Linghu Chueshua roared in anger. He also pierced through heaven and earth with his sword. The unparalleled sacred sword was also in his hand. It was obvious that the unparalleled Sage King was also well prepared. This sword cleaved through everything. They quickly rushed out. On the other side, the other sage cities also took out their sage artifacts. It seemed that these sage cities had prepared such trump cards. At that moment, a terrifying aura blew down from the sky. A huge seal pressed down. Linghu Chueshua's expression changed. Not good. He raised the unparalleled sacred sword. He slashed out with his sword. The 2 weapons collided and released a terrifying energy wave. Then he was forced back. Lin Xian and the others were also forced back. It was clear that the seal was also a Saint King's weapon. Someone was ambushing them. Who was it? They raised their heads and saw the people from the demon city sneering. Meanwhile, a great desolation flag landed on Lin Xian's side and froze him in place. The space he was in continued to shatter. Not good. The faces of the surrounding people changed. It seemed like these people were targeting Lin Xian. As expected, several figures descended from the sky. There were people from both the demon city and the great desolate mansion. Among them, the people from the 10,000 demon city were restraining Linghu Chueshue and the others. The people of the great, desolate mansion looked at Lin Xian. Brat, you run pretty fast, but do you think you can run away? In the second stage, you killed so many of our people. Do you think we will spare you? Today is the day you die. How dare you? Murong Qingqing roared angrily, emitting a terrifying aura. Linghu Chuexiue and the others were the same. For a moment, the two sides were in a standoff. Terrifying laws collided with each other, causing countless large cracks to spread out. It seemed like the two sides were about to engage in a huge battle. It's useless. Stop struggling. The people from the Thunder God City had also arrived. In the sky, a lightning hammer restrained Murong Qingqing. This way, victory was in their hands. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and sneered. Do you think you can kill me like this? What? Do you think you can still escape? The expert from the great, desolate mansion sneered. He was Huang Wu. At this moment, his eyes were filled with coldness. Since you dare to go against us, you have to bear the consequences. I admit that you are strong, but so what? What right do you have to be arrogant in front of the Saint King's weapon? Yu Ruo, Lu Yuan, and the others were extremely nervous. Indeed, the Saint King's weapon was too strong. Lin Xian laughed. Is that so? Do I have the right? You can give it a try. However, I advise you not to make a move. If you fight me, you will end up in a terrible state. You sure talk big. Do you really think you can turn the tables in my hands? Huang Wu sneered. He had the desolate heaven tyrannical flag in his hand. How could he lose? Today you will die. With a shout, he waved the desolate heaven tyrannical flag in his hand. Endless desolation, laws spread out. This was the weapon of the Saint King's marshal. When it was used, its power was at its peak. The surrounding people all spat out blood and retreated. Not good. Linghu Chuexiue used the unparalleled sword to block the attack. However, he could not help Lin Xian. This was because he was firmly restrained by the 10,000 demon seal. Sensing the terrifying aura, Lin Xian felt a chill run down his spine. To be honest, he was not afraid because he had a trump card. In fact, he did not need to use the great dragon sword soul. Before he came, the unparalleled Saint King had not only given Linghu Chuexiue the unparalleled Saint Sword, but he had also returned the great Sage Pagoda and the Great Destruction spear to him. This meant that Lin Xian also had a Saint King's weapon. He even had a great sage's defensive weapon. Linghu Chuexiue would be courting death if he fought with him. However, he did not plan to use these two land cards yet. This was because he still had a trump card, and that was his cultivation level. Previously, in the second star system, he was suppressed by the heavenly axiom and could not break through because it would attract divine punishment. However, it was different here. Planet Xiyuan had the aura left behind by the great emperor. It was extremely mysterious, and even the heavenly axiom could not completely affect this ancient battlefield. Thinking about it, it should be a place for him to break through. Therefore, Lin Xian decided to give it a try. In the next moment, an extremely terrifying light burst out from his eyes. Then the dragon in his body roared and a terrifying aura burst out. The seal in his body was broken. The power that had been suppressed for a long time swept out in all directions like a flash flood. Boom, boom, boom. The terrifying power reverberated between heaven and earth. An entire world became gloomy. Everyone looked up in horror and found that countless dark clouds had appeared in the sky. It had gathered for 9 days. Some people gasped. This kid's aura. Could it be that he was about to break through? How was that possible? Huang Wu's pupil shrank and his face became extremely ugly. Previously, when they entered the sacred tower, their strength had increased. Some people had even broken through directly. He had broken through from the beginner to the mid-stage of the Holy Venerate, and his strength had increased greatly. However, there was one exception, and that was Lin Xian. Back then, Lin Xian's cultivation level and aura had not changed at all. This strange scene caused many people to be puzzled. Now he had finally displayed a powerful aura. Could it be that he had waited until now to break through? Moreover, the great sage had told them that he was a person abandoned by the heavens. They felt that he had calculated his breakthrough at this time. Humph! He snorted coldly. You want to break through? Impossible. You will stay in this realm for the rest of your life. Huang Wu's eyes flashed with madness. He activated the desolate heaven tyrant flag in his hand with all his might. Chapter 40, 283. Huang Wu wanted to stop Lin Xian's breakthrough in advance, but it was obvious that he couldn't do it. Following the sound of thunder, tens of thousands of lightning bolts swallowed the space. The surrounding people's pupils shrank. Oh no, let's leave. They retreated quickly, but the lightning tribulation of a small saint was terrifying. Moreover, the lightning tribulation would affect them. If they went in, they would be hit even harder. Especially when they had sage weapons, it was unimaginable. Therefore, these people retreated frantically. Huang Wu's pupils shrank. He didn't expect Lin Xian's power to be so strong. It was beyond his expectations. Since he couldn't kill Lin Xian, he could only leave. Thinking of this, he quickly retreated with the desolate heaven tyrannical flag. Do you still want to leave? Stay. Lin Xian's eyes shone coldly. Like a bolt of lightning, he flew towards Huang Wu. Along with it, there were countless lightning bolts. No, Huang Wu was about to cry. Was Lin Xian trying to kill him? He retreated quickly, but Lin Xian was very fast. He rushed up in an instant. In the next moment, lightning struck. Lin Xian spat out blood as if he was struck by lightning. However, he smiled. This kind of impact was nothing to him. As long as he could break through, he would recover instantly. However, it was different for Huang Wu. Huang Wu used the desolate heaven tyrannical flag to block it, but in an instant he found an even more terrifying lightning bolt. It seemed to be able to destroy the world. Huang Wu threw the desolate heaven tyrannical flag away. This was the aura of a sage. He couldn't block the lightning tribulation at all. However, after throwing it away, he was hit by the same impact. He spat out blood and his body shattered. However, he knew that with his strength, he should be able to dodge it. Between heaven and earth, there was the sound of thunder. Everyone retreated far away. In the sea of lightning, Lin Xian endured the lightning as he strode forward. A huge hand reached out and grabbed in front of him. The void shattered and the sun and moon dimmed. In front, Huang Wu was trying his best to block the lightning. The impact of the lightning on him was even more terrifying than Lin Xian. At this moment, he saw someone attacking him and roared. Damn it! The two of them fought in the sea of lightning, causing the entire space to tremble. Desolation's eyes shone with a cold light. He wanted to draw the lightning tribulation from his body onto the other party. However, the power of the divine body was beyond his imagination. Even though Lin Xian had endured a lot of lightning, he wasn't crushed. Instead, he attacked frantically. Soon, desolate, unchanged collapsed. He had already used all his strength to support these lightning bolts, and with Lin Xian's help, he was directly blown apart. His power was scattered in an instant. 10,000 lightning bolts struck the blood mist again, and he was severely injured. Desolate even had the heart to die. He simply couldn't resist this scene. The only thing he could rely on was the barren heaven tyrannical flag, which was the Saint King's weapon. It could defend against everything. But at this moment, he did not dare to use it, because once he used it, he would attract a Saint King-level heavenly tribulation. If that happened, he would die even more miserably. Just like that, in the midst of struggle and entanglement, his heart and soul were destroyed. This thunderbolt attracted the attention of countless people, and even the great battle in the distance calmed down. Countless eyes looked over, and finally they saw the sea of lightning disappear. A figure appeared. Those from the great, desolate mansion couldn't believe it. Where's Desolate? Has he been killed? Damn it. They snatched the barren heaven tyrannical flag back, and their eyes were filled with endless murderous intent. Lin Xian's aura had changed. He was at the peak of the small saint realm, and had finally reached the beginner saint realm. His strength had increased. There was an earth-shattering change. Damn it. Kill him. Those from the great, desolate mansion held the barren heaven tyrannical flag and rushed over again. When Wushuang City and Murong Qingqing saw this scene, their faces changed and they wanted to help. Lin Xian sneered. He took out a devouring treasure bottle, and the power in it poured down. Once again it enveloped him. The lightning that had already disappeared from the sky was replaced by another bolt of lightning. It was even more terrifying than before. It descended. The surrounding people went crazy. Heavens, how could this be? Is this kid still going to break through? He just broke through. Damn it. This is the power of the Saint Hall. He didn't absorb it previously, and instead he pretended to. The surrounding people went crazy. Run away. At this moment, these people fled in all directions. Lin Xian roared into the sky like a god of war. His body that had just recovered split open again, and blood dyed the sky red. However, the light in his eyes was even brighter. It made him look like a giant, and he flew quickly in the sky. He charged towards the enemy. Those from the great, desolate mansion were instantly sent flying, and they vomited blood. They wrapped the barren heaven tyrannical flag and fled quickly. Lin Xian turned around and charged towards the Thunder God City. Thunder God City's people were scared out of their wits. Although they were Thunder Dao experts, they couldn't do anything about it. Although they were thunder gods, they couldn't withstand the heavenly tribulation at all. After being bombarded, their bodies turned black. They also fled quickly. Next, the Thousand Demon City and the Acheron Hall were also attacked. Those from the Primordial Grotto wanted to be arrogant, but after being struck, they were also smoking. They fled quickly. For a moment, no one dared to stay in this space. Everyone had left. Between heaven and earth, there was only the terrifying lightning that filled the air. It lasted for a long time before it slowly disappeared. Lin Xian walked out of the sea of lightning again. This time, he directly broke through to the middle stage of the Holy Venerate realm. The power that he had suppressed previously finally erupted. Now he clenched his fists. Ordinary middle stage, Holy Venerates were nothing in front of him. Even now, when facing a Holy Venerate, he didn't need to use any powerful trump cards to contend with them. This was the change that the increase in strength brought to him. Big Brother Xian, Murong Qingcheng, Shenjingqiu, and the others flew over with joy on their faces. Linghu Chuexiue and the others also came over. In the distance, Guan Sanhai and Qin Xianer also came over. These people all congratulated him. Lin Xian also smiled and thanked the protectors. Seeing that Lin Xian was fine, Linghu Chuexiue also said, "All right, let's collect the Holy Ruler Wills next." After all, only with these things could they go to the legendary hidden Emperor Star. The others also nodded. Everyone would get at least one. Therefore, these people prepared to split up. They guessed that the other holy cities wouldn't stay together for too long. They would have to search quickly. The Holy Ruler Wills were the most important. After discussing, everyone split up. Of course, they didn't act alone. Normally, 2 or 3 people would act together. Lin Xian, Murong Qingqing, and Shen Jingqiu would act together. The 3 of them formed a small team and flew into the distance. Lin Xian used his heavenly secret divine eyes to scan with all his might. Golden light swept out, enveloping everything. Chapter 4284. 3 streaks of light streaked across the sky. It was Lin Xian and the other 2. They passed through the mountains and rivers, quickly searching for the Sage King's will. It had to be said that this place was really too terrifying. The murderous aura was terrifying. It was unknown just how many powerful experts had fallen here in the past. Logically speaking, it shouldn't be a problem to find a sage king in such a place. However, after searching for so long, they still couldn't find one. There were even some places that they didn't dare to step into easily. The mountain in front seemed a little special. Xin Jingqiu pointed at a mountain in the distance. Lin Xian opened his heavenly secret god eyes and took a look. Then he said, "Let's go over." The three of them flew forward. The aura around them gradually became abnormal. In the end, their faces changed. They felt a sense of danger. There should be something in front of them. That powerful great Tao will made them unable to breathe. Could it really be the Sage King's will? Great, they finally got one. There was a mountain in front. It looked ordinary, but the aura it emitted was extraordinary. There weren't any trees on the mountain, only some strange rocks. Lin Xian waved his hand and a terrifying storm blew over. Those rocks were all shattered. At the same time, a fiery red light appeared in the cracks. Countless runes appeared on the mountain. It was abnormally mysterious, like the great Tao intertwining. At the same time, an even more violent aura spread out. What a terrifying power! Moreover, it was the power of fire. Could it be left behind by a fire elemental sage king? Countless flames spread out in all directions with the mountain as the center. In the end, the surrounding ground was also fiery red. Many runes appeared. Lin Xian and the others were shocked when they saw it. What a terrifying scene! What kind of battle happened here back then? Lin Xian was overjoyed. The 9 suns' divine fire on his body jumped and swept through the 9 heavens. Let's go and take a look. The 3 of them approached quickly. However, when they arrived at the mountain, everyone felt an extremely powerful aura. Murong Qingqing and Shun Jingqiu didn't go closer. Instead, they said, "Sage kings should be the fire Tao will. Brother Xian is very suitable for you." Lin Xian nodded. He asked the 2 of them to wait at the back while he went forward. As soon as Lin Xian approached the mountain peak, endless flames rushed over and engulfed the 9 heavens. The aura it emitted was boundless, shrouding the entire world. Lin Xian roared and slapped out with his palm, tearing everything apart. It was as if he had turned into the Fire God Squad 1 to fight against it. An earth-shattering voice was heard. Lin Xian wanted to enter the volcano. At the same time, the commotion here naturally spread into the distance. There were even people flying over from afar. Murong Qingqing and Xin Jingqiu's expressions turned grim. Murong Qingqing shouted coldly, "The Kunlun Pavilion has matters to attend to, so all unrelated people are to leave." After he finished speaking, the terrifying phantom of Kunlun Mountain floated between heaven and earth. The people around him stopped, bewildered. Was it as powerful as the Kunlun Pavilion? They did not move forward. However, at this moment, an even more shocking fluctuation came from the mountain in front of them. A terrifying will swept across the land. The surrounding people's expressions changed when they sensed it. Could it be the will of the Sage King? Great, they actually found it. Previously, these people were still a little afraid, but now that they sensed this aura, their eyes turned red. They pounced over crazily. Do they have a death wish? Xin Jingqiu snorted coldly, and countless Tao runes appeared on her body. She was about to use her cosmic form. Murong Qingqing had indeed said, "Forget it, there are too many people. We can't stop them all. Moreover, let them go." Not just anyone could enter the front. Moreover, once there were too many people, there would be fights between them. All right, Shen Jingqiu did not attack again. She allowed those people to charge forward. Those people turned into streaks of lightning and were extremely fast. However, in an instant, many people were forced back. What a terrifying flame! Damn it! Some people roared in anger. They did not expect to see such a scene. Xin Jingqiu smirked coldly. Murong Qingqing's eyes flickered. Did they really think that just anyone could enter? Without a strong physique or divine ability, it was impossible to get close, not to mention obtaining the will of the Sage King. However, suddenly his pupils constricted, and a look of shock appeared in his eyes. The reason for that was because he sensed an even more terrifying aura coming from the sky. In the distance, a stream of light tore through the 9 heavens. Not good, an expert is coming. Xin Jingqiu also felt it. She stopped smiling, and a look of seriousness appeared in her eyes. Boom! A large mountain moved quickly and finally arrived nearby. Everyone was shocked to find that it was a huge demon beast. Its body was burning with purple flames. It was a 3-eyed fire demon ape. Everyone was shocked and swallowed their saliva. This was a very terrifying beast of heaven and earth, and its cultivation was very powerful. It had reached the late stage of the Holy Venerable Realm. Murong Qingqing and Murong Qingqing's expressions turned incomparably cold. They knew that this was a powerhouse from the Demon City. The other party was actually here. It was someone from the Demon City. Retreat quickly. The surrounding people frantically retreated. For a moment, everyone was terrified. Someone in front also retreated and exclaimed. The person inside was Lin Wudi. What? It was actually him. There would be a good show to watch now. Lin Wudi and the Demon City were sworn enemies. Now that a late-stage Holy Venerable from the Demon City had arrived, he would definitely not let Lin Wudi off. Discussions rang out. Everyone was prepared to watch the battle first, and then fish in troubled waters. They retreated far away and looked forward. After the 3-eyed fire demon ape arrived, its terrifying aura suppressed the surroundings. When it saw everyone retreating, it had a look of disdain in its eyes. Then it looked forward with its 3 eyes. When it saw the terrifying flaming mountain, joy appeared in its eyes. However, when it saw that there was a figure below the mountain, a cold, murderous intent appeared in its eyes. Lin Xian. It was actually him. This was great. They had searched high and low for him, only to find him by chance. Originally, they wanted to kill him. Now, they did not expect him to appear together with the Sage King's will. This was killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Murong Qingqing sent a voice transmission to Lin Xian from afar. Actually, there was no need for him to do so. Lin Xian could sense it too. He turned his head and saw the mountain-like figure. A cold light flashed in his eyes. Someone from the Demon City? Old thing, yours truly has no time to bother with you now. Hurry up and scram. I'll spare your life. Otherwise, don't blame me for not being courteous. Lin Xian's voice rang out. The surrounding people went crazy. What was this guy talking about? The 3-eyed fire demon from the Demon City was enraged as well. In the next moment, it let out a thunderous laughter. And are you trying to provoke me? You think you have what it takes? His eyes were filled with disdain as he sent a slap over. Chapter 42:85. The palm pressed down like the sky, shattering heaven and earth as it encased Lin Xian. Lin Xian's figure flashed, instantly dodging and arriving in another space. Old fellow, do you really think that you can suppress me? Xiao Chen snorted coldly. This angered Lin Xian. Now his cultivation had broken through 2 cultivation realms, reaching middle stage Holy Venerate. Xiao Chen's strength had undergone a complete transformation long ago. Now, he did not fear facing a late-stage Holy Venerate alone. Murong Qingcheng and Shan Jingqiu wanted to go over as well. However, Lin Xian sent them a voice projection. There's no need. I just broke through and want to test my strength. Just the 2 of you will be my protector. The 2 nodded. They also knew that Lin Xian's strength had increased long ago, so there was no need to worry. The surrounding people were stunned. This fellow wanted to challenge a late-stage Holy Venerate alone? Where did he get his confidence from? Did this fellow think that he was still in the 2nd stage? In the second stage, late-stage holy venerates had to suppress their cultivation to fight. However, in this place, there were no rules to be followed. Indeed, the three matured demonic fire ape smiled coldly. Brat, do you think that you can challenge me just because you killed holy venerate Hegu? You are really reckless. Now, I'll show you the true strength of a late-stage holy venerate. After saying that, the three matured demonic fire ape opened his mouth and spewed out an overwhelming purple sea of flames that turned into boundless red light. Then it charged at Lin Xian, instantly encasing the space around Lin Xian. The overwhelming fire swallowed up everything. Do you think that this fellow will get instantly killed in one move? Some people already started laughing coldly. After all, this was the strength of a late-stage holy venerate. Even from so far away, they felt despair. How could the other party possibly contend against it? Lin Xian looked at these purple flames and snorted coldly. In the next moment, he clenched his hand into a fist and punched. The 9 yang divine flames surged out and turned into 9 suns. These 9 suns exploded in the sky and blocked the purple flames. Boom! 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 The 2 flames clashed in the sky, the 2 great Tao clashing continuously. The sky crumbled and the earth cracked. Lin Xian waved his hand and repelled the purple flames. He looked forward and laughed coldly. Is this all you've got? Stop trying to test me. My strength is beyond your imagination. If you want to defeat me, you'll have to show me your true ability. Otherwise, let's see how you'll withstand my wrath. After he finished speaking, Lin Xian waved his hand and used the tiger demon fist. The golden flames combined with the indomitable aura formed a heavenly flaming steel. He descended from the sky, wanting to suppress the other party. This move was extremely terrifying. Now that it was used by Lin Xian, it was even more terrifying than before. Seeing this, the 3-eyed demonic fire ape was enraged. The other party actually dared to look down on him and even dared to take the initiative to attack him. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. He decided to display his true strength and let the other party know what it meant to be a late-stage, holy venerable. Raging infernal war. Following his furious roar, the purple flames on his body erupted as he stretched out his palm. Countless Tao patterns appeared on his palm, interweaving with the great Tao. Then he swung his palm down. The power of this one was much more tyrannical than before. It could be said that they could not be mentioned in the same breath. Clearly, this was a powerful move. The surrounding people retreated in horror, their complexions pale. Several people nearly knelt on the ground. A middle stage, holy venerate would not be able to survive this attack. Even a late stage, holy venerate of the same cultivation would not dare to clash head-on. Xin Jingqiu exclaimed, her eyes filled with worry. Murong Qingqing remained expressionless. However, he clenched his fists tightly. His fingertips turned somewhat white. It was obvious that he was extremely nervous. Buzz! Lin Xian snorted coldly. A similarly sharp, murderous intent appeared in his eyes. The laws and energy that appeared in his body surged continuously. Tiger Demon Fist, 4th move, Divine Martial. As Xiao Qin spoke, his black fist suddenly released an unparalleled light. At the same time, a scene seemed to appear in Lin Xian's mind. That was the scene of Xiao Qin comprehending the dragon race's breathing technique on Mount Longhu. Back then, he did not have any tiger race's breathing technique, so he could not comprehend it. However, he remembered that scene deeply in his mind. Now, as he executed the tiger demon fist, the same scene appeared again. He seemed to sense a strange, breathing technique awakening. Following this vibration, his entire arm seemed to have turned into a peerless divine lake roaring at the sky. Roar! A roar was heard. A terrifying power exploded in the 9 heavens. It caused the surrounding void to shatter into pieces. The surrounding people were all stunned. Where did this roar come from? The tiger, the king of beasts, suppressed everything. They all looked around. Then their pupils shrank. It was Lin Xian. How was this possible? Why was there a roar again? Wasn't he related to the dragon race? These people were about to go crazy. The three-eyed fire demon ape felt its chi and blood tremble when it heard the roar. It was actually related to the tiger race. This kid could not be left alive. A strong, murderous intent appeared in its eyes. Xiao Chun was related to Mount Longhu. There must be a special inheritance in his body. If it killed Xiao Qin and obtained the inheritance, it might be able to further evolve its bloodline. By then, it might even reach the sacred ruler realm in advance. Kid, hand over your secret obediently. It sneered. The purple palm was even more terrifying. It grabbed at Lin Xian. Boom! A ferocious tiger pounced from the sky and collided with the purple palm. The energy produced by the collision was terrifying. Everything in the surroundings was turned into ashes. Apart from the fiery mountain, the others had retreated into the distance. Their bodies were trembling, and their faces were filled with fear. Even the people in the distance felt the ripple. They all sent out their soul spirits to investigate. Who exactly was fighting? Were they two peak sacred venerables? Did they block it? Amidst the shattered void, they saw that the purple palm had stopped in midair and did not descend again. They did not expect Lin Xian to be able to fight against a late-stage sacred venerate with his own strength. It was unbelievable. How strong was his body? How strong was it? Why did I feel that he was already a late-stage sacred venerate? A series of exclamations could be heard. As for the purple palm in the sky, it retreated once again. Following it, it launched a stronger attack at Xiao Qin. The flames on the palm felt like they were going to destroy everything. Lin Xian showed no fear. He swung his fist again. The tiger demon fist was incomparably executed by him. At that moment, it was as if a godly tiger had come back to life. The successive collisions caused the void to turn into chaos. Even the flames on the purple palm dimmed. They were even trembling. The three-eyed fire demon ape wore an unpleasant expression. This guy was actually able to fight against it. Chapter 40-86. This brat must have secretly taken a medicinal pill or executed some secret technique. That is how he can contend with me. I want to see how long he can last. The three-eyed fire demonic ape snorted coldly. After all, it was a true late-stage holy venerate. It did not believe that the other party could contend with it forever. The purple flames on its body became even more horrifying. At the same time, its body became even larger. It was like it had become a huge, great, desolate Aeon beast. The three-eyed fire demonic ape kept waving its palms. It was like 100,000 mountains were descending, suppressing everything. Lin Xian's face turned sullen. He snorted coldly and formed hand seals. Laws flew out and formed the 10 absolute sword formation around him. Kill! The 10 absolute sword formation gave off dragon roars and terrifying sword chi. The sword chi flew around continuously, piercing through the sky. Boom! 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 Countless strands of sword chi flew into the sky and clashed with the purple palms. There was an earth-shattering sound. Following that, cracks appeared on the purple palms. A terrifying aura filled the air, and the surrounding people were all stunned. They heard the sound of something shattering. What's going on? These people looked over. Then their eyes nearly popped out. The purple palms were actually about to shatter. This was too inconceivable. Everyone was stunned. The atmosphere turned somewhat quiet. They simply could not believe what was happening. Boom! Another explosion rang out, and the 10 Ultimates sword formation was knocked back. It circled around Lin Xian. Lin Xian was also knocked back, smashing through space. Lin Xian's complexion was somewhat pale. However, his lips curled up in a smile. Lin Xian looked to the front. In front of them, a huge black shadow was burning with purple flames. That was a pair of purple palms. At this moment, they were covered in cracks. Following a loud explosion, the crack opened with a loud rumble. The palms shattered. Clumps of blood, wrapped in flames, fell from the sky. The ground was pierced, and the mountain peak was smashed apart. It looked like the end of the world. What late stage, holy venerate. That's all there is to it. Lin Xian smiled coldly. Roar! The three-eyed fire demonic ape reared its head back and roared furiously. He was actually injured. Although his arm was broken, it was only a minor injury to him. But this was a slap to his face. The other party was weaker than him by an entire realm, but was actually able to injure him. Damn it! With a roar, he raised his foot and stomped down viciously. This strike was earth-shattering, and it was filled with incomparable fury. Lin Xian's figure flashed as he quickly dodged the attack. The surrounding ground continued to shatter. The broken body of the three-eyed fire demon ape healed once again. His palms recovered and began to close together. It directly hit Lin Xian. With a boom, it completely enveloped Lin Xian as if he was swatting a fly. Many people's eyelids twitched when they saw this. This strike was enough to shatter his bones. Murong Qingqing and Shen Jingqiu looked worried again. The three-eyed fire demon ape laughed coldly. Let's see how you die this time. However, his smile quickly disappeared. That was because his palm had shattered once again. 36 swords flew out and circled around Lin Xian. Xian executed the Heavenly Dipper sword. Together with the absolute sword technique, he was extremely strong. Brat, you have thoroughly angered me. The three-eyed fire demon ape roared. He opened his mouth and spat out countless flames, which turned into a long saber. This was his weapon. He held it with both hands. The saber split open the sky. It clashed with the battle swords. Boom! Lin Xian was sent flying in an instant. His 30 battle swords were trembling non-stop. This saber strike was too terrifying. It was a peak saber strike of a late stage, holy venerate. Even Lin Xian could not block it with his full strength. He kept retreating, crashing through mountains and rivers. However, his physique was extremely strong. This saber strike only caused his qi and blood to churn. It did not injure him. The 36 battle swords combined again. The 10 absolute sword formation erupted with unparalleled power. The battle between the two turned into a storm. At the same time, Lin Xian attacked again. The tiger demon fist erupted again. The ferocious tiger phantom roared, suppressing the 9 heavens. On the other side, there were dragon roars from the 10 absolute sword formation. The dragon roars and the tiger roars. These two forces appeared together. Lin Xian used the dragon-tiger breathing technique again. A terrifying aura spread out. This time he was extremely powerful. Boom! The purple flame saber was sent flying. The three-eyed fire demon ape kept retreating. Its huge body fell to the ground. Lin Xian soared into the sky and used the dragon-tiger phantom again. The dragon-tiger fusion seemed to have turned into a huge mountain, pressing down on the three-eyed fire demon ape. Go to hell! Lin Xian roared. At this moment, the power of the dragon-tiger breathing technique and the absolute sword formation were unleashed to the extreme. That aura of destruction suppressed everything. Everyone raised their heads and looked at the godlike figure. They were extremely shocked. This Lin Wudi was really too strong. It was a tragedy to be born in the same era as him. Roar! The three-eyed fire demon ape roared crazily. Its purple flame saber had been hacked into the ground far away. Its arm was also broken. It could not fight back at all. However, it roared to the sky and let out an earth-shattering sound wave. The fire demon roar. The terrifying sound wave vibrated and swept out in all directions to fight against the dragon-tiger roar. The two collided again. The aura kept collapsing. Everyone saw the sky fall and the earth crack. They had sealed off their hearing and used the law to defend themselves. Crack! Crack! Lin Xian's body let out a dragon roar again. The dragon tiger phantom exploded again. After shattering the tiger demon fist, he viciously punched downwards. Its target was the head of the opponent. Not good. Seeing this scene, countless people cried out in shock. They had never thought that such a thing would happen. They did not expect the three-eyed fire demon ape to be defeated. They were worried for the other party. This was something that they had never dreamed of. Great. Was he going to win? Murong Qingqing and Xin Jingqiu also revealed a faint smile. The dragon tiger phantom was reflected in the three-eyed fire demon ape's eyes. In the next moment, its eyes turned red. The third eye between its brows shone with a strange light. Then a purple lightning bolt flew out from its eye and split the sky. Crack! The shocking thunder made everyone's blood boil. Then Dragon Tiger Mountain was split in half. Lin Xian's pupils shrank. He quickly retreated and dodged. However, he was still affected by the aura. In an instant, the place where he was turned into nothingness. Brother Xian, Murong Qingqing, and the rest exclaimed. The others were also stunned. What was going on? Was Lin Wuti killed? What was that purple light just now? Someone took a deep breath. It was the third eye of the three-eyed fire demon ape. It was one of its unique skills. Once it was released, its power was extremely terrifying. Everyone was terrified. Did the third eye have such terrifying power? Chapter 4287. The earth trembled, and the huge figure on the ground stood up again. All the cracks on his body were healed, and his eyes shone with a strange light. His cold voice was like thunder as it spread in all directions. How dare a mere ant go against me? You must be tired of living. The three-eyed fire demon ape sneered. In the distance, there was a flash of light. It was obvious that the battle here had attracted people from afar. When they arrived, their pupils shrank when they saw the scene. It was an elite from the demon race. They stopped in the air and were shocked. Who was the instructor? They looked around and realized that the people around them were talking about Lin Xian. Had Lin Xian already been killed? Some people were shocked, while others revealed hideous smiles. Great, this kid is finally dead. Brother Lin Xian. Xin Jingqiu's face changed. The cosmic form behind her rushed out and was about to rush into the sky. Murong Qingqing said, Don't be nervous. Try to sense Brother Xian's aura. It hasn't weakened. Xin Jingqiu was stunned. She quickly used her soul to check. Then she heaved a sigh of relief. Indeed, she could sense Lin Xian's aura. It was still there, so she didn't act rashly. Whoosh! A few sword lights slashed the void. A figure walked out from the turbulent energy. His body was still stained with blood. It was obvious that he was injured. However, he didn't seem to be in a serious condition. I didn't expect you to have a trump card that could split the illusion of Mount Longhu. Lin Xian looked serious. Indeed, that attack was combined with the breathing techniques of the dragon race and the tiger race. He was confident that he could destroy everything. However, he didn't expect his opponent to block it and even injure him. It seemed that his opponent's third eye contained the secrets of heaven and earth. He didn't die. The people in the distance exclaimed when they saw this. The three-eyed fire demon ape was also stunned. Its three eyes were filled with anger. You're still alive. Well, I'll capture you and slowly torture you to death. The three-eyed fire demon ape bared its fangs. Its murderous aura was even more terrifying. It closed its eyes and opened the three eyes in between its eyebrows. The eyes were mysterious and were surrounded by strange runes. Soul destruction. A purple light shone and instantly appeared in front of Lin Xian. It enveloped Lin Xian, heaven and earth around them. Everyone felt a huge pressure on their souls. Lin Xian also snorted coldly. Boundless power surged from his body. At the same time, a pair of golden eyes opened, like the eyes of a god. The golden flames burned fiercely and collided with the purple light. Then both of them disappeared from the world. And how did he block that? The fire demon, Ape's face darkened. After all, it had already used some of its trump cards. However, it was still unable to do anything to Lin Xian. It was unbelievable. Let's see how long you can last. While using the soul destruction light, it charged toward Lin Xian. The dual attack of the body and soul was enough to destroy everything. Everyone was worried about Lin Xian again. Lin Xian roared. His heavenly secret god eyes scanned the surroundings. Between heaven and earth, there was a pair of divine eyes looking down and fighting against the soul destruction light. At the same time, he threw out a black spear. Boundless murderous aura surged toward Lin Xian. Do you think I don't have a trump card? The great spear of destruction was thrown out. It carried a monstrous demonic aura. Lin Xian's original flames were filled with demonic aura. He became extremely violent. It was as if he was a supreme demon king. Some people felt their scalps go numb when they saw it. Lin Xian had brought back a demonic divine artifact. It was unbelievable. This great spear of destruction was extremely powerful. They had analyzed it before. It was a super sacred artifact of the demonic race. It might even be at the level of a sage king. Now that it was in Lin Xian's hands, it could make Lin Xian's power stronger again. Sure enough, after Lin Xian used it, one strike pierced through heaven and earth. It had an aura that could destroy everything. The whole world shook violently. Poof! The three-eyed fire demon Ape's huge body was instantly pierced through. Blood dripped down, dyeing the sky red. He roared at the sky and let out an angry roar. He was so angry that his voice pierced through gold and cracked stone. He didn't expect to be injured again. Damn it. Enduring the pain of the wound, he grabbed the great spear of destruction with his huge palm and wanted to snatch it away. This was a super powerful sacred artifact. He was extremely jealous. You're about to die, and you still want to snatch my treasure? You don't know what's good for you. Lin Xian sneered. Although his body wasn't as big as his opponent, his strength wasn't weak at all. He held it with both hands. With a roar, golden light bloomed all over his body. At this moment, he didn't hold back at all. The aura of the 9 suns' body was displayed to the world. The endless void under his feet collapsed. Lin Xian's hands were like dragons roaring in the sky, waving the great spear of destruction. He lifted the huge body of the three-eyed fire demon king. Then he kept dancing and smashed it fiercely towards the big one. Boom! An earth-shattering sound rang out. The three-eyed fire demon king was smashed to the ground. The endless earth shattered, and the ground below turned into hell. As for the three-eyed fire demon king's body, it was also torn apart. A large crack appeared on its body, directly splitting it apart. This shocking scene stunned everyone. Countless people sucked in a breath of cold air in disbelief. This Lin Wuti was really heaven-defying. Kill! With one strike, he shattered the opponent's body. Lin Xian roared. With the great spear of destruction in his hand, he charged out again. The dragon and tiger phantoms surrounded him. The 10 ultimate sword formation floated and rushed inside with supreme power. He attacked the broken body again. Damn it! With a roar, the three-eyed fire demon king tried to recover his body. However, the sword chi of the 10 ultimate sword formation nailed his shattered body to death in the void. He couldn't escape in a short time. However, he was a late-stage Saint Venerate after all. Since he couldn't move his body, he used his soul to attack. The purple eyes contained an endless amount of soul power. Go to hell. It was another soul-extinguishing light. This time, it was much more powerful than the previous one. Lin Xian roared. His heavenly secret divine eyes completely erupted. His eyes emitted a dazzling golden light. It was like a golden ocean that swept down. Puff! Ah! The golden light blocked the purple soul-extinguishing light. Then it counterattacked. The purple eyes were hit by the golden light. Then he closed his eyes. Blood flowed out. This time, not only was his body injured, but his soul was also severely injured. He roared at the sky. He was extremely furious. Damn it! In the distance, the people of the 1,000-demon city rushed over. They finally couldn't hold back and wanted to attack. However, Murong Qingqing and Shen Jingqiu stood in the void. Let's see who dares to attack. The moment Shen Jingqiu's cosmic form appeared, terrifying laws covered the sky like an inescapable net. Murong Qingqing waved her jade-like hand. A green light cut through the void like a long knife. Her cold voice rang out. Those who cross this line will be killed without mercy. Chapter 4288. The two of them attacked and were prepared to stop the people around them. The people from Demon City roared. Why would they be afraid of such a threat? Hence, they charged forward. In an instant, they charged forward. All sorts of demonic aura spread and shook the 9 heavens. However, not long after, they were shocked because they realized that although there were only 2 of them, they were too powerful. The cosmic form behind Shen Jingqiu was like a real immortal king, standing tall and upright. It blocked all the mystique attacks and blocked their way. On the other side, the Murong Qingqing was even more terrifying. The 9 slashes of Kunlun and the Jade Lake holy water surged in all directions, making it impossible for them to win. Damn it. Seeing this, the 3-eyed fire demon ape roared crazily. This bunch of trash couldn't even break through one of them? It was infuriating. When Lin Xian saw this scene, the corners of his mouth curled up into a smile. Why? Are you still hoping that someone will come and save you? Dream on. You'll definitely die today. Kid, don't be so smug. Can you really kill me? The 3-eyed fire demon ape snorted. Although he had lost, it wasn't that easy for Lin Xian to kill him. Lin Xian sneered. It was indeed more troublesome to kill him using ordinary means. However, the trump card in my hand is not something you can imagine. Next, I'll let you know what despair is. The demonic aura on his body surged and covered his entire body. Apart from his strong physique and superb sword skills, he had other mystiques. Previously, he had pretended to be the old ancestor of the heavenly demon tribe. Naturally, he had obtained the inheritance of the heavenly demon tribe. At this moment, he was using one of the mystiques. Demonize the world. This mystique used demonic aura to refine powerful energy and could even dissolve a person directly. This was the mystique of the demon tribe and was extremely terrifying. Normally, Lin Xian wouldn't use this mystique. However, this time he didn't hold back at all against the 3-eyed fire demon ape. He formed a seal with his palms and streaks of demonic aura surged out, forming a cage and trapping the 3-eyed fire demon ape. The demonic aura formed an altar again. A terrifying aura appeared and a refined energy covered the 3-eyed fire demon ape. No, feeling this aura, the 3-eyed fire demon ape was completely terrified. Damn it, you can't do this. He knew that this kind of attack could threaten his life and could even destroy his soul. He roared fiercely, the power in his body exploding as he tried to break free. However, it was useless. His power was being crazily sucked away. The absorbed energy formed black crystals that resembled divine crystals. When the altar finally disappeared, the 3-eyed fire demon ape was already dead. On the ground, there were 8 black crystals that contained a terrifying amount of power. Lin Xian waved her hand and stored the 8 crystals. When the time came, he could provide the great dragon sword soul with the energy inside and use it as a trump card. He could even use the demonic aura to increase his strength. In short, it was a very good treasure. After obtaining it, the corners of his mouth curled up into a cold smile as he looked at the volcano in front of him. The surrounding people were all stupefied. Heavens! Wasn't a late-stage Holy Venerable killed by the other party just like that? This method was too terrifying. Sage Wanyu, who was fighting with Morong Qingqing, roared crazily when he saw the scene. Damn it, Lin Wudi, our 1,000-demon city will not rest until you die. Boom! Boom! Someone was sent flying. Morong Qingqing and Shun Jingqiu unleashed their power. These people could not resist at all. Run! The saints of 1,000-demon city roared crazily and retreated into the distance. Did the people of 1,000-demon city escape? These 2 fairies were very powerful. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He did not care about such threats. In the next moment, he turned his head and stared at the volcano in front of him. Then he roared, and a terrifying power surged out. The Taiji diagram rotated and turned into an eternal light that slashed towards the volcano. At this moment, Lin Xian was attacking the volcano with all his might. The volcano gradually cracked open, and a fiery red flew out. A ball of red flame was emitted. Its powerful aura attracted everyone's attention. Many people's eyes turned red instantly. That was the will of a holy king. Attack! Although they had seen the power of Lin Xian and the others before. So what? There were so many of them. They would have a chance to get it. Therefore, the people around them all rushed over. They were courting death. Morong Qingqing snorted, and the Kunlu 9 slashes flew out. Shun Jingqiu used her cosmic form. The 2 of them fought on one side and blocked the people on the other side. So powerful. These people had seen the battle before and knew that the 2 of them were powerful. But now that they experienced it personally, they knew how terrifying the 2 of them were. And they realized that the 2 of them had been holding back. Now that they had unleashed their full power, it was really terrifying. One after another, the laws seemed capable of tearing them apart. Damn it! How could these 2 be so strong? They were both crazy. On the other side, people from other places charged towards Lin Xian. They felt that this was a good opportunity. Lin Xian snorted coldly. These people dared to attack him. Did they not know what was good for them? Looking at the 2 people charging towards him, his body swayed and he dodged. Smiles appeared on the faces of the 2 men. Great! They grabbed at the flame wheel. The flame wheel erupted with a terrifying light and directly enveloped the 2 of them. In the next moment, the 2 of them roared crazily. Their bodies were directly melted, and the 2 souls fled into the distance. Did they want to leave? Lin Xian split the 2 souls with his sword. The remaining people did not dare to move forward in fear. For a moment, Lin Xian suppressed the group of people. Morong Qingqing and Shun Jingqiu also blocked the other people. The 3 of them joined forces and blocked nearly 5 times the number of people. Their strength was simply heaven-defying. If you don't get lost, don't blame me for starting a massacre. Lin Xian snorted coldly. The power of the 10 ultimate sword formation erupted and directly pierced through heaven and earth. The surrounding space was sealed, forming a boundary. The other people quickly retreated. It was too terrifying. Without the top powerhouses and Sage King weapons, no one would be able to fight against the other party. They could only quickly retreat and contact the powerhouses in the sacred city. Damn it! The people of the Acheron Hall gritted their teeth. If it were not for their top powerhouses fighting the Tombkeeper, they would have come over to kill this brat. Seeing that no one dared to come, Lin Xian snorted coldly and then turned to look at the flame wheel. He took a deep breath and began to attack the flame wheel. The 9 suns' divine fire turned into golden crows and began to seal the flame wheel. This was a difficult battle. The degree of danger was not inferior to that of Shan Yan and the demonic ape. Fortunately, the surrounding people did not dare to attack again. Therefore, there was no need to worry about the consequences. However, over 100,000 miles away, on a mountain peak, a figure appeared. His eyes were shining with a terrifying killing intent as he stared at Lin Xian in the distance. Chapter 4289. Lin Xian furrowed his brows when he sensed the cold, murderous intent. In the next moment, he turned around. He did not see the real body, only an afterimage. However, he was still shocked. That was because he was too familiar with that figure. Wan Jinni, he was still alive. Previously, Wan Jinni had fought against him, but he was defeated and left by Gu Feng. After that, he did not see Wan Jinni again. But now he saw the silhouette of that person again. It truly shocked him. With Wan Jinni's character and terrifying strength, he would definitely be a disaster in the future if he was left alive. However, when he wanted to look for Wan Jinni again, Wan Jinni had already left. Wan Jinni had disappeared without a trace. Lin Xian had to deal with the Sage King's will with all his strength, so he did not have the time to pay attention to Wan Jinni. With his full strength, he sealed the Sage King's will. Lin Xian put it into the great void divine furnace and let out a sigh of relief. That's great. He had obtained one. This way he had a quota. Next, he had to get one for Morong Qingqing and Xinjingqiu. This way, they would be qualified to enter the buried Emperor Star. However, if possible, Lin Xian wanted to collect a few more. Because this thing was left behind by the Sage King, it was extremely useful for comprehending the Great Tao. When the people in the distance saw Lin Xian put away the flame intent, they were shocked. Their eyes turned red and their faces were filled with envy. This guy had obtained the Sage King's will. Morong Qingqing and Shan Jingqiu smiled. The three of them turned into flowing lights and disappeared. After the three of them left, the news quickly spread. Many people in the holy city knew about it. Lin Xian had obtained the Sage King's will. Some people sighed. As expected of Lin Wudi, he was really strong. It seemed that he was the first to obtain it. However, some people's faces were gloomy and they gritted their teeth. Damn it, it was this kid again. These people are going crazy. They must find him and kill him to snatch the Sage King's will. The terrifying primordial battlefield was filled with an icy aura. However, a few streaks of light streaked across the blood-colored sky. Among them were people from the primordial grotto and Acheron Hall. Their faces were extremely cold. These people were the two who had attacked the Gravekeeper earlier. They had thought that they would be able to kill the Gravekeeper with their weapons. But who would have thought that the old man guarding the tomb would be way too frightening? This was especially the case for the countless tombs of powerful beings around him. Eventually, they all burst forth with a terrifying aura. He had almost killed them. Fortunately, they had brought along Saint King weapons, so they were able to escape. Otherwise, they would really be in danger. Damn it, that old bastard. I have to get rid of him if I have the chance. On the Acheron Hall side, a sacred venerate called Zi Ming had an ugly expression. The leader of the immemorial grotto team was someone called Lan Tiando. He gritted his teeth and said, "Don't worry, there will be a chance." As they spoke, they quickly flew into the distance. On the other side, the tomb keeper returned to the place where Lin Xian and the others were trapped. His expression was cold. For so many years, no one had dared to be disrespectful to him. Now these brats were actually so bold. His expression was cold. In the next moment, he took out the magistrate pen and scanned his surroundings. At the same time, he let out an ancient voice as if he was giving an order. The tombs around him all cracked open, and one figure after another walked out of the tombs. They were abnormally ferocious. They all respectfully waited for the tomb keeper. However, the tomb keeper frowned because he realized that there was no movement at all from an inconspicuous, small mound in the distance. What was going on? He waved the magistrate pen again, and even took out a Yama's gong and knocked on it. However, the small mound still did not move. In the next moment, the old man waved his hand and directly crushed the mound. He frowned, because he realized that there was nothing inside. Damn it, that guy actually ran away again. When I find you, I'll tear you into pieces. He snorted coldly, then formed a seal with his palm. The black figures that walked out of the tomb all spread out in all directions. The tomb keeper's lips curled into a sneer. Geniuses from all over the universe? I'll let you collect the sage ruler's will for me. Lin Xian and the others were still searching, but they also realized that many people were looking for them. It seemed that those people wanted to snatch the sage ruler's will from them. Lin Xian's expression was cold. It seemed that these guys really did not give up. As long as they dared to come, he would let them know what despair was. The three of them continued on their way. Lin Xian used his ocular technique and continued to search. A few days later, he was stunned. He discovered that on the ground in front of him, another huge creature had appeared. It was a city, the Antiquity City. At this moment, it was already in ruins. Many places had collapsed, forming cracks and abysses. However, this huge city was really too big. The remaining space was as far as the eye could see. As for Lin Xian, he felt a strange fluctuation from the city. He knew that there was definitely a Sage King's will inside. In addition to Lin Xian and the others, there were also people from all over. There were even people from inside the Antiquity City. It was obvious that the Antiquity City had attracted everyone's attention. They entered the Antiquity City. Lin Xian and the others felt a sense of desolation. Countless years ago, this must have been a prosperous place. It could even be a martial holy land. However, after a great battle between sage rulers, this place was completely ruined. After Lin Xian came down, he could see the broken array on the ground. Obviously, it was destroyed in the battle back then. However, Lin Xian carefully searched and found that although some array formations were broken, they could still be used. It was just that after countless years, no one could activate them. As for the others, they exclaimed. They looked into the distance. There was a pagoda standing there, emitting a desolate aura. The pagoda was still in good condition, and there were countless runes around it that intertwined to form a barrier, isolating everything. Everyone walked in the direction of the pagoda. They saw that on the plaque above the pagoda, there were even a few words written in flamboyant calligraphy. Universe Pagoda. Many people gasped. How much courage and strength did one have to be to dare to use the name of the universe? Obviously, this pagoda was extremely extraordinary. There might be unknown treasures inside. This was the primordial battlefield. Those who participated in the battle back then were definitely sage rulers. There might even be stronger existences. If they could get one of the things left behind by those people, it would be a great opportunity for them. So, thinking of this, their eyes became fiery red again. Chapter 4290. Sounds of discussion could be heard all around. Among them, a figure appeared. She stood on the street and lifted her head to look ahead. Her appearance made the surrounding people retract their gazes and look at her. She was from the Joyous Union Palace. She was indeed a fairy. It was said that people from the Joyous Union Palace were the most suitable partners. Laughter could be heard, and there were even some experts who frowned. They could sense a peculiar aura from the other party. Could it be the Sage Monarch's will? Did this person obtain the Sage Monarch's will? Yu Shiqi's face also turned pale. To be honest, she had indeed obtained the Sage Monarch's will. However, she had been separated from the people from the Joyous Union Palace and had come here alone. Facing so many cold gazes, she was extremely nervous. Although she was also a genius, she really could not fight against so many people here. In such a dangerous situation, she did not think of her fellow sect members. Instead, she thought of Lin Xian. If that guy was here, he should be able to protect her. Then she shook her head. That kid had already made countless enemies. Would he provoke so many people for her? Even if she had already submitted to him, he did not take her seriously at all. Do you have the sage monarch's will on you? If you do, hand it over, and I'll let you live. At that moment, someone said, coldly. It was an old man whose aura was abnormally powerful. On the other side, a middle-aged woman also walked out and said, Take it. I'll guarantee your safety. The others also exclaimed. They did not expect the palace guard to have such a treasure. Yu Shirchia sighed. It seemed that she had obtained the sage monarch's will by chance. She could no longer keep it. In that case, she could only save her life. At that moment, another young man walked over and said coldly, Leave it to me. I'll take you to meteoric success. Yu Shirchia had already made up her mind. She looked around with a smile. At that moment, her body was emitting a strange aura. This was the special illusion of the Joyous Union Palace. She smiled. I know you all want the Sage Monarch's will. Fine, I can give it to you. Because I can't beat you. However, I only have one Sage Monarch's will. You have so many experts. Who should I give it to? As soon as she said that, the surrounding people gasped. Then they forgot about the three masters. Was this woman trying to sow discord? She was really meticulous. This way, if a fight really broke out, the other party would have a chance to escape. The middle-aged woman also sneered. You're so young, yet you're so scheming. However, this isn't something you need to consider. You only need to hand over the Sage King's will. As for who obtains it in the end, it has nothing to do with you. Was there no chance left? Yu Shirchia sighed when she saw that the three experts were unmoved. It seemed that her last bit of hope had disappeared. Since that was the case, then forget it. She smiled bitterly and said, All right, I hope you can spare my life. As she spoke, she waved her hand and took out a treasure bottle. Inside the bottle, there was a blue glow flickering. That was the will of water. It was abnormally terrifying and attracted countless gazes as soon as it appeared. Yu Shirchia used this opportunity to quickly retreat. She pushed him far away, but she didn't leave. At this moment, the Sage King's will became the only thing in the world. In front of him, the eyes of the three great experts were also blooming with terrifying light. Moreover, the three great experts in front of him didn't act rashly. Although they desperately wanted to obtain the item, no one dared to make the first move. Because if the first person made a move, the other two would probably immediately join hands. The other two also had the same thought. Therefore, the atmosphere became somewhat tense for a moment. The surrounding people also had grave expressions, but no one was interested. This scene was incomparably strange. However, at this moment, the void broke open, and a large golden hand directly grabbed down, enveloping the will of water. Terrifying power illuminated the surroundings. The surrounding people were stunned. The three great experts' pupils constricted. In the next moment, they were furious, courting death. The item that the three of them didn't dare to rashly snatch had actually been snatched away by someone else. Who was it? No matter who it was, they would all destroy the other party's soul. The three of them roared and unleashed terrifying divine abilities at the golden hand. The void exploded in an instant. However, the speed of the golden palm was much faster than everyone had imagined. It turned into a golden bolt of lightning and instantly disappeared. Want to leave? The sacred domain of the three erupted, sweeping through the 9 heavens and 10 lands, completely enveloping the entire world. Want to run? Do you think I'll run? How laughable. In the sky, a cold voice came. Then a figure like a god of war descended. The surrounding people all raised their heads and looked over. The three great experts did the same. In the next moment, their pupils constricted. Lin Wudi, it's you. They were really shocked. They didn't expect it to be this kid. In the distance, Yu Shirchia was also stunned. Was it him? She had hoped that he would appear to save her. She didn't expect that he would really appear now. However, when she saw the two beautiful figures beside Lin Xian. A trace of sadness appeared in her eyes. The person who came was indeed Lin Xian. Not only him, but Murong Qingqing and Shen Jingqiu also came. The appearance of the three attracted the attention of everyone. The three great experts in front of them. The old man narrowed his eyes. I see who it is. So it's you, kid. What? You think you can be arrogant in front of us just because you got a good ranking in the second round? The middle-aged woman also sneered. Kneel down now and obediently hand over the will of the sacred king, and I can give you a chance to live. The three of you bullied others and snatched the will of the sacred king from others. Do you have any shame? You are all reputable figures. Don't you think it's too shameless for you to join forces now? Lin Xian sneered. In the face of the three great experts, he was not afraid. Kid, it seems that you really don't know what's good for you. Do you want to snatch the treasure from us? A cold-killing intent appeared in the old man's eyes. The old man was from Giant Spirit Pavilion. The woman was an expert from Guiyuan Hall, and the young man was from Seven Star Tower. Among them, the middle-aged woman also arrived. You have already provoked Acheron Hall, Demon City, and other holy cities. Now, you still want to be enemies with us? If that's the case, I'm afraid not only will you die, but your Wushuang City will be consigned to eternal damnation. What are you threatening me? Humph, Lin Xian sneered. Then he threw the will of water out and threw it to you, Shurtia. Then he said, since you got it, you can keep it. Remember, when you get a treasure, don't give it to others so easily. This scene caused everyone to be stunned. My heavens, what did Lin Xian do? He'd actually handed over the holy king's will to you, Shurtia. Could it be that the two of them knew each other? Everyone was shocked. It turned out that Lin Xian didn't want to snatch the treasure for himself, but to stand up for you, Shurtia. Chapter 4291. The three experts' pupils shrank. Was this kid trying to slap them in the face? Their expressions became incomparably cold. Yu Shurtia was also stunned. She looked at the sage monarch while in front of her in disbelief. Had he returned it to her? One had to know that this was the sage monarch will. With it, she could increase her strength and obtain the opportunity to go to the buried Emperor Star. Had he given it to her just like that? Yu Shurtia didn't know why, but she wanted to cry. Kid, it seems like you want to stand out. Your appetite is too big. You already have two fairies by your side, but you're still thinking about others. The middle-aged woman sneered. The youth from the Seven-Star Pavilion also had a cold expression. I advise you to obediently surrender. Otherwise, I'll send all of you to hell. Oh, is that so? Lin Xian turned his head and stared at the person from the Seven-Star Pavilion. The corners of his mouth rose into a cold smile. With just you? You dare to look down on me? The Seven-Star Pavilion's Xiao Bai was instantly enraged. Lin Xian's eyes revealed a domineering look. I still have the Sage Monarch will in my hand. If you have the strength, just snatch it. If you can defeat me, this Sage Monarch will is yours. Hearing this, countless people gasped. This Lin Wuti was too arrogant. Sure enough, a trace of cold-killing intent appeared in Xiao Bai's eyes. No one had ever dared to look down on him like this. Since you're courting death, I'll fulfill your wish. An extremely terrifying aura emerged from Xiao Bai's body. It had to be said that he was very powerful. He was an unparalleled existence among mid-stage holy venerables. He was much stronger than Wan Jianyi and the others. Buzz! Xiao Bai's figure swayed. Terrifying stars flickered under his feet. With a step, he arrived in front of Lin Xian. Then he slapped his palm toward Lin Xian. The stars on it formed a pattern that enveloped Lin Xian. At the same time, his other hand attacked Yu Shurtia. The starlight in the sky fell, forming a large net. Not only did he want to kill Lin Xian and steal Lin Xian's Saint King will, but he also wanted Yu Shiqia's will of water. He also wanted to take it away. He had to admit that he was really greedy. Lin Xian sneered. You want to attack me at the same time? Aren't you afraid of bursting? After he finished speaking, his fist glowed with light as he swung it forward, colliding with the starry sky pattern. The sound of the sky collapsing and the earth cracking could be heard. The starry sky pattern was directly broken, and the opponent's palm was beaten back. Xiao Bai's body also began to tremble, a look of shock appearing in his eyes. On the other hand, Lin Xian shook his head. You are so weak that it's pitiful. Even someone like you dares to attack me. I really don't know where your courage comes from. The surrounding people were all stunned. No way. Lin Wuti was already so strong. Xiao Bai's pupils shrank as well. How could this be? Although the other party was strong in the second stage, he was still an ant-like existence in his eyes. Was his opponent able to block his attack? Thinking of this, he became angry, and his palm turned into a single finger again. Finger of stars! With a point of his finger, the stars were destroyed. This was a powerful ultimate technique of the 7-star tower. He did not believe that the other party could block it. Humph! Lin Xian snorted coldly. The golden hand slapped over fiercely. The flames on it were monstrous, as if it was burning everything. In an instant, it enveloped the finger of stars. The other party's palm made cracking sounds as it was directly broken. Blood flowed out. This was not over. The golden hand did not stop at all. It slapped towards Xiao Bai's face. Boom! This attack slapped Xiao Bai's face. That handsome face instantly deformed as countless cracks appeared on it. His body was also sent flying backward like a kite. Boom! Xiao Bai vomited blood and flew backward, overturning a mountain peak in the distance. The endless morning fog filled the air. The surrounding people were stunned. Their eyes almost fell out of their sockets. Heavens! What did they see? The incomparably powerful Xiao Bai was actually sent flying by Lin Xian's slap. This was too powerful. In the distance, Yu Shiqia was also dumbfounded. Although she was touched by Lin Xian's actions, she also knew that Lin Xian had made too many enemies, so she thought that it would be better to take out this Sage King's will. At least, she would not make any more enemies. But who would have thought that Lin Xian was actually so powerful? He sent his opponent flying with a slap. This stunned her on the spot. The other two experts also frowned. A hint of seriousness appeared in their eyes. To be honest, they had never taken the other party seriously before. But now, the strength that the other party displayed greatly shocked them. It seemed that the other party's casual attack was already so terrifying. This kid's strength had actually increased so quickly. They carefully investigated, and then their pupils shrank. The other party was already a mid-stage holy venerable. If they remembered correctly, the other party was only a peak small saint in the second stage. Now he had broken through 2 major realms in such a short time. What had the other party experienced? Boom! The mountain range in the distance split open. A figure flew out. It was Xiao Bai. At this moment, his expression was incomparably ugly. Although his injuries had recovered, he was still furious. After being slapped in the face in public, how could he still have the face to appear in front of others in the future? Although he was angry, he did not immediately attack, because the strength that the other party had displayed just now had really shocked him. Lin Xian looked at him and said indifferently, "Yes, I have indeed offended many holy cities, but whether it is the Acheron Hall, the Myriad Sword Pavilion, or the great desolate mansion, I will not let them off. The experts of these holy cities have also died at my hands. Do you want to follow in their footsteps?" Xiao Bai was covered in cold sweat. He knew that the person in front of him was a demon king. If he really angered the other party would not care about their identity or background. He would kill them all. So for a moment he stood there in a daze. Lin Xian's eyes flickered as he once again looked towards the old man and the middle-aged woman, before he coldly asked, "What about the two of you? Are you still going to go against me?" The two of them took a deep breath. Stars flickered in their eyes. In the next moment, they made a decision. The middle-aged woman laughed. Lin Gongzi lived up to his reputation. "We were just joking with you." "That's right. I just wanted to see your skills. How could I be your enemy?" These two experts did not have any killing intent at all. In fact, they even had a hint of flattery. The surrounding people went crazy. Were these still the three great experts? Previously, these three people were high and mighty, looking down on everything. However, in front of Lin Xian, they did not have any temper at all. They had originally thought that there would be a fierce battle, but who would have thought that Lin Xian's strength would suppress everything? In the distance, Yu Shijie was also stunned. Was this her master? He was already so powerful. Originally, he had thought that if his strength increased, he might be able to break free from the other party's control. But now, it seemed that it would be difficult for him to do so in this lifetime. Seeing that the three of them did not dare to attack again, Lin Xian retracted his gaze and turned to look at Yu Shijie. Then he said, "Take that will. It is very compatible with your bloodline." Chapter 42-92. Thank you, young master. Yu Shijie was extremely grateful. Lin Xian did not say anything. After all, Yu Shijie was also one of his people. However, he was very surprised. He did not expect that the other party would be able to obtain the Sage King's will. It seemed that the other party's fortuitous encounter was not small. Lin Xian's gaze shifted away from the other party and then towards the pagoda in front of them. He said, "Since we've met, then follow me to see what's inside the pagoda." Around the pagoda, there were even more powerhouses. The arrival of Lin Xian and the others naturally attracted the attention of countless people. Many gazes flew towards them. In fact, some of them even had monstrous killing intent. Lin Xian snorted coldly, his body emitting a powerful aura. Murong Qingqing and the others did the same. They used terrifying laws to counterattack. The sound of the array formation rang out. Everyone was surprised. Although this team had few people, their strength was powerful. Therefore, everyone retracted their gazes and looked at the pagoda again. Let's see how to enter the pagoda first. Outside the pagoda, there was an array formation protecting it. If they wanted to enter, they had to first crack the array formation. Someone could not help but make a move and rushed forward. That person's body emitted an incomparable light. It was obvious that he was an expert. His body emitted a terrifying Dao light as he charged directly towards the array formation. The array formation seemed to have been activated, releasing an incomparable aura. Bolts of lightning spread out in all directions. A sea of lightning rose and enveloped the entire space. Countless cracks appeared, carrying a power that could destroy everything. The surrounding people felt this power and their expressions changed. Was it a lightning array formation? The person who attacked the array formation previously was also blasted back by the lightning and spat out large mouthfuls of blood. This scene caused everyone to be even more shocked. Lin Xian's eyes also flickered. Clearly, he could see that this was an extremely terrifying lightning array formation. Murong Qingqing said with a frown, "This was not an ordinary array formation. It looked similar to a lightning tribulation." Lightning tribulation was a very dangerous thing for anyone because the slightest carelessness could lead to death. Therefore, when they encountered similar lightning again, these people were on guard. After the initial shock, the surrounding people all stopped what they were doing. Soon, they discussed again and then rushed in. Although the lightning was scary, they were determined to get it. "Then let's go." Lin Xian took a deep breath. Radiance blossomed from his body. He brought Murong Qingsheng and the other two and flew forward. When they entered the sea of lightning, terrifying lightning bolts shot towards them. It caused the space around them to shatter continuously. They felt an extremely terrifying aura of destruction. It was as if it wanted to tear them apart. Ah! Someone roared in front of him. Damn it! Don't use your laws. You'll attract even more powerful lightning tribulations. As soon as these words were spoken, the people in the surroundings exclaimed in surprise. Sure enough, they'd noticed this as well, so they all withdrew their laws. However, without the laws, it was much more difficult for saints to withstand the lightning. They could only rely on their physique and sacred artifacts. Lin Xian appeared to be much more relaxed. Even if he did not use the laws, just his 9-yang divine body was incomparably powerful. For example, Murong Qingqing and the others took out their sacred artifacts to resist. In fact, Lin Xian even formed a seal, forming an illusion of 9 suns that directly enveloped Murong Qingqing and the other 2. The 3 of them also heaved a sigh of relief. With such a powerful defense, they were not worried anymore. However, Lin Xian's eyes emitted a golden light as he looked in all directions. Who knew what kind of changes would occur in such a terrifying array formation? Not long after, he took a deep breath because he had noticed some changes. He discovered that some lightning bolts had suddenly emerged in the depths of the sea of lightning. The lightning bolts were extremely terrifying, as if they had turned into the shape of swords. They carried a violent aura. Lin Xian was extremely shocked. Sword-shaped lightning? This was an extremely terrifying existence among the lightning bolts. Once they encountered it, they would be extremely powerful. Even Lin Xian did not dare to be careless in the face of such lightning bolts. The others also gradually discovered it because these sword-shaped lightning bolts were like flying arrows, flying over and swaying in the surroundings. Murong Qingqing took a deep breath, and a hint of caution appeared in her beautiful eyes. She could clearly feel the powerful energy coming from above. The others also cried out in alarm. Some of them even made a move. Immediately, the sword-shaped lightning exploded. The front was engulfed by the lightning, and many people vomited blood as they were sent flying. In an instant, countless cries of alarm rang out. Lin Xian's expression was also grave. What should he do? Yu Shijie frowned and asked. She was of the water element and was very restrained by the lightning bolts. Leave these lightning bolts to me. Others might be afraid, but Lin Xian was indeed incomparably happy. This was the best power to temper his body. Lin Xian's 9-yang divine body needed to be tempered thousands of times. Now that he had encountered these lightning bolts, how could he miss them? With a wave of his hand, countless laws flew out in all directions, immediately triggering the sword-shaped lightning bolts. Endless lightning exploded and enveloped him, causing countless people to turn their heads. In the next moment, they cried out in alarm. No way was there someone so stupid. Oof, he's dead. A cold laugh rang out. However, in the sea of lightning, Lin Xian's 9-yang divine body bloomed with incomparable light. Strange patterns appeared on it one after another, as if it had turned into a golden vortex, and it began to absorb the power of the lightning. Gradually, the surrounding lightning disappeared, and Lin Xian's figure appeared. Above his body, there were still arcs of electricity flashing, making rumbling sounds. It was really terrifying. Lin Xian was shocked. Although the process seemed simple, the pain during the process was no less than the lightning tribulation. If it weren't for his strong will, he wouldn't have been able to endure it. When the surrounding people saw another person walk out of the sea of lightning, they immediately cried out in alarm. No way, that guy actually blocked it. It's that kid. Damn it, how is his body so strong? The surrounding experts cried out in alarm, and deep shock appeared in their eyes. Those who could come here were all geniuses among geniuses, but even they didn't dare to resist the sword lightning. not to mention attracting so much lightning. However, Lin Xian dared to do it, and he was unharmed. He even used the lightning to temper his body. It was really enviable. Next, Lin Xian used this method to open up a path. He stood in front of the group and attracted all the sword lightning in the surroundings to him. He continued to temper and absorb it. Behind him, Murong Qingqing and the other two passed through safely. Gradually, Lin Xian came to the depths of the Sea of Lightning. His speed had also slowed down. After all, after absorbing so many thunderbolts, his body was also under great pressure. In the end, he couldn't absorb any more. Lin Xian exhaled. His exhalation was filled with terrifying lightning. He didn't know when he would reach the end. Shen Jingqiu frowned slightly. They walked for a distance, and then Lin Xian stopped. There seemed to be a situation. Shen Jingqiu frowned again, and her cosmic form appeared behind her. Chapter 40, 293. Lin Xian gave a signal to the hillmen to pay attention. At the same time, the golden light in his eyes shone again as he looked into the depths of the Sea of Lightning. In the next moment, he was stunned. He gasped and even took a step back. That was because he saw that in the depths of the Sea of Lightning, endless lightning intertwined and formed a human-shaped lightning. The human-shaped lightning was also formed by lightning, but its power was even more terrifying than the lightning formed by swords. Generally speaking, human-shaped lightning was very rare. It would only appear in the heavenly punishment. Who would have thought that a human-shaped lightning would appear here? Murong Qingqing and the others gasped when they heard about it. Their nerves became extremely tense. What should we do? Shen Jingqiu asked. That things seemed to be targeting them. Indeed, the human-shaped lightning in front of them was staring at them like lightning. It made their scalps tingle. Even Lin Xian's 9-yang divine body could not convert such a powerful lightning into energy and absorb it. So, he could only think of another way. Lin Xian said, "Let me do it." He walked out and took out a devouring treasure bottle. It was given to him by unparalleled Sage King. Previously, it could absorb the power of the sacred hall and devour it. Who knows whether or not he could store the lightning of this person in it. In the next moment, Lin Xian activated the devouring treasure bottle and flew forward. The devouring treasure bottle shot out a devouring light. A black hole kept spinning and shrouded the human-shaped lightning. It wanted to devour it. The human-shaped lightning took a step forward. Unparalleled lightning exploded from its body, causing the surrounding space to crack. The terrifying destructive aura made everyone's scalps tingle. Even Lin Xian's face changed. Not good. The aura was too strong. To be honest, he was not confident. If unparalleled Sage King was here, he would definitely have a way to deal with the human-shaped lightning. But now, there was only the devouring treasure bottle. No one would know. Fortunately, the human-shaped lightning had only just formed. Thus, it was still swallowed by the treasured devouring bottle in the end. Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief and sealed the devouring treasure bottle. Did he succeed? Yu Shiqi's face paled. Murong Qingqing was indeed a little happy. This was great. If he encountered those powerful enemies in the future, he could directly release the humanoid lightning. Indeed, Lin Xian also nodded. He also had the same idea. After all, the enemy he was facing now was too powerful. Many of them were late-stage holy venerables, and some even had holy king weapons. Now that he had the humanoid lightning, it could be considered as another trump card. In the future, if he really encountered a difficult opponent, he could release the humanoid lightning. Let's go, they continued their journey. Without the threat of the human-shaped lightning, their speed increased again. However, after half a day, they stopped again. Lin Xian was shocked. As he spoke, he quickly stopped and retracted all of his aura. After that, Murong Qingqing and the others were stunned. They didn't understand what was going on. However, he still completely concealed his aura. Lin Xian was the same. It was as if they didn't exist. His eyes, however, blossomed with extremely terrifying golden runes as he looked into the distance. In the distance, there was a figure in the sea of lightning. The aura he emitted was abnormally special. Murong Qingqing and the others also saw that figure. They were immediately shocked. Who was that figure? She was too surprised because she found that his aura was completely different from that of the other people in the holy city. Who exactly was that person? Was there anyone else here other than them? Lin Xian's brows were tightly knitted together. He felt a sense of danger, so he said, "Let's go." The few of them quietly retreated. However, at this moment, the mysterious silhouette in front suddenly turned around. A frightening ray of light shot toward them. Who was that? With a low shout, the surrounding lightning was continuously destroyed. At the same time, Lin Xian felt a powerful gaze piercing through the 9 heavens and 10 lands. He sighed. This was not good. This person was too powerful. With their current cultivation, there was no way they could hide at all. Thinking of that, he took out the void beast skin and covered the few of them. Then, he used his spatial magic and quickly left. In front of them, the mysterious figure did not discover anyone, but his brows were tightly furrowed. A low voice was heard. The laws of space? Humph! He snorted coldly, and then his figure gradually disappeared. At the same time, on the other side of the lightning, Lin Xian and the others were hiding in the void. They were extremely nervous. After waiting for a while, they realized that no one was chasing after them. This made them sigh in relief. It was too dangerous. They did not expect that this ancient battlefield would be so terrifying. There was actually such a person. Lin Xian felt that the other party's aura was no weaker than that of a holy ruler. Could it be that there was really a holy ruler here? Who exactly was that person? Shin Jingqiu was also puzzled. Lin Xian shook his head. Forget it. Let's not bother about him. It's best not to meet that person again. That person is very dangerous. Let's go. It seems that we are very close to the pagoda. The few of them nodded and continued on their way. They continued to fly toward the pagoda. Finally, they saw a black figure standing in front of them. It was the pagoda. The few of them smiled. Lin Xian realized that they were not the only ones who had come. There were many figures around them, and these people's auras were abnormally powerful. Obviously, these people had their own trump cards, which was why they could come here. Of course, in the process, some people must have died in the Sea of Lightning. The appearance of Lin Xian and the others attracted the attention of others. Everyone turned their heads again. At the same time, another person came out from behind. This place was becoming more and more lively. Those people snorted coldly and ignored Lin Xian. Instead, they continued to look at the pagoda in front of them. A hint of passion appeared in their eyes, and at the entrance of the pagoda, there were already a few figures standing there. These people's auras were even more powerful. Among them were the Primordial Grotto, the people from Thunder God City, and the Kunlun Pavilion. The Primordial Grotto. They turned their heads and stared at Lin Xian, their eyes erupting with biting, cold, killing intent. However, the people from the Kunlun Pavilion were delighted. They saw the Murong Qingqing. Is that kid going to make a move? The faces of the people from the Primordial Grotto became incomparably cold. Ignore that guy. I've already entered the pagoda myself. Anyway, that kid can't escape from this ancient battlefield. It won't be too late to kill him after we obtain the treasure. The few of them discussed and decided to make a move on the pagoda first. Lin Xian and the others met up with the people from the Kunlun Pavilion. The few of them heaved a sigh of relief. With the powerful existence of the Kunlun Pavilion here, they did not have to worry about being ambushed for the time being. How is this place? Murong Qingqing asked. An old man from the Kunlun Pavilion said, Although we're here, there's clearly a seal at the entrance of the pagoda. I'm afraid we have to break it before we can enter. Lin Xian activated his heavenly secret ability to observe. He discovered that there was indeed a mysterious force at the entrance of the pagoda. At the same time, his pupils constricted. Chapter 4294. Lin Xian sensed that there was still a force around him, which made him shocked. The others couldn't sense it, but Lin Xian's Tianji child prodigy could clearly sense that the danger was getting closer and closer. Lin Xian's face was pale. He said, "Not good. I think we should retreat first." Retreat? The people of Kunlun Pavilion were stunned. What was going on? Some of them had a look of disdain in their eyes. Was this the legendary Lin Wuti? Why was he so timid? The saintess of Kunlun Pavilion was with such a person? Those who had such thoughts were all the young geniuses of Kunlun. After all, they also hoped to win the attention of Murong Qingqing. So at this moment, they all looked at Lin Xian with disdain. The experts of Kunlun Pavilion also frowned. A middle-aged man asked, "What did Lin Gongzi discover?" "There's a dangerous aura approaching. I think we should leave this place first." Dangerous aura? A few of them were stunned. There were even late-stage saint venerables among them. They carefully sensed and then said, "We didn't find anything." Murong Qingqing said, "We believe in Brother Xian. Let's leave this place first." All right, those experts nodded. Since even the saintess had said so, they would first retreat to a certain distance. Some of the young geniuses were very unhappy. I want to see if there's any danger. How could this kid continue to pretend? These people quickly retreated. It seemed like they wanted to leave the pagoda. This scene caused the surrounding people to be shocked. The people of Immemorial Grotto turned their heads and revealed a look of confusion. What was going on? One of them sneered. "They must be afraid of us, attacking them. How could these trash be our match?" Their eyes were filled with disdain. However, at this moment, the void split open. An extremely terrifying aura surged out and rushed in all directions. Then, a terrifying black shadow appeared and slammed down. With a boom, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. The people of Immemorial Grotto and Thunder God City were directly sent flying. They vomited large mouthfuls of blood. What was going on? The surrounding people were so frightened that their scalps went numb. They felt the terrifying aura and their expressions became extremely ugly. In fact, they even saw 2 late-stage, holy exalted experts being sent flying. The people of the Kunlun Pavilion were also stunned. Soon, they broke out in cold sweat. If they hadn't retreated back then, perhaps they would be the ones vomiting blood right now. When they thought of this, their faces were filled with shock. Those older generation figures took a deep breath and said, "Many thanks to Lin Gongzi for the reminder." The young sky prides of the Kunlun Pavilion also turned pale. Previously, they had mocked Lin Xian for being a coward. Who would have thought that Lin Xian had really detected the danger? But they didn't know anything. What right did they have to laugh at such a person? For a moment, those people put away their contempt. Lin Xian shook his head. His frown deepened. The reason for that was because the energy fluctuation coming from the front was simply too terrifying. Everyone looked up. In the next moment, they saw a bone claw appear in the void. It was a white bone claw that floated there. It was abnormally terrifying. However, there was only one palm and nothing else. This caused everyone to be stunned. Could a palm easily injure a late-stage, holy exalted? Then, whose palm was this? Was it left behind by a saint king? Everyone was bewildered. They carefully examined it and found that the palm's aura was very strong. However, the surface was already in tatters. It was clear that after countless years, it was no longer the same as it used to be. This made everyone heave a sigh of relief. If it was a complete palm, none of them would be able to block it. But now it was covered in cracks. They might be able to resist it. Damn it! The people of the immemorial grotto flew over from afar. Their expressions were ugly and there was blood on their bodies. Among them, a few experts stared at the white bone palm. Their eyes shone with a piercing cold light. It's just a guardian palm. How dare it injure us? The experts of Thunder God City also flew over and gritted their teeth. If it wasn't for it being too sudden, how could they have been injured? These people's eyes were cold. Then someone said, "Let's go. Let's break this guardian palm together and enter the pagoda." It's actually a guardian palm? Shin Jingqiu was also shocked. Then she said, "Big Brother Xian, I've heard some legends about this guardian palm. It's a treasure refined by a powerful existence after its death. It's used to protect. Guardian palms usually have a guardian light on them. If Feng Yu could absorb it, he would become even stronger. Although this guardian palm is already shattered, there should still be a guardian light on it. If you are able to do so, your 9-yang divine body and physique might be able to become stronger again." Hearing this, Lin Xian's eyes lit up. Really? That's great. If that was the case, then he had to fight for it. Thinking of this, a piercing cold light appeared in his eyes. However, when he saw the countless experts around him, he said, "There's no rush. Let's wait and see." Indeed, there were many people here. Furthermore, those who could come were all peak experts. Many of them were late-stage experts and had many trump cards. These people quickly made their moves. Lei Shincheng and the people from the immemorial grotto quickly made their moves. Terrifying laws and mystiques surged forward. These people had joined forces at this moment. Clearly, they wanted to break through the protective palm and enter the pagoda. Buzz. The sound of the ground shaking could be heard. The guardian palm released light and swept out. The multicolored light on it was too terrifying. With one strike, it split the world. Boom, boom, boom. The guardian palm clashed with the surrounding magic skills and laws. Terrifying sounds of thunder rang out. Clumps of energy spread out in all directions. Many people retreated. Lin Xian looked forward. His eyes shone with incomparable light. He was prepared to make his move at any moment. This was because he knew that although the guardian palm was strong, it would not be able to last long under the attacks of so many experts. Indeed, the ones leading the charge were late-stage holy venerates. They had rich battle experience. Every time they attacked the shattered parts of the guardian palm. This caused the cracks on the guardian palm to become even more terrifying. However, these people were secretly on guard against each other. They were afraid of being sneak attacked. Thus, they did not use their full strength. Even so, it did not take long for the cracks on the guardian palm to become extremely terrifying. Then, with a kacha sound, a crack appeared. That palm was torn to pieces, about to shatter. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.